Everybody, can you say something for me just one at a time? Yeah, starting from GD. Oh, it's my phone. What about you, G? Shut the fuck up,
it's
phone!
Me.
Okay.
Mr. Man.
Okay, that picks you up. Alright. Okay, it picked up everything. Yep. Alright.
Nice.
Yeah, we're live for no viewers. Yes!
Yeah!
I like that.
We made it. We
It's
made it.
a
I
good
made it,
start.
Mom.
Say hi to your mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, your mom.
My mom, I know you're disappointed in me, but just to let you know that I love you. No matter what I do, I'll just shoot myself in the end, yeah?
That's sweet.
Yeah, hey,
That's
Vince, welcome
sweet.
to the stream, my guy. We're gonna be talking on this thing, no, webcam, no shit. Just, talking with the other guys, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the VR chat, VRC workshop podcast or something. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it, and we're doing it right now, right here. So, as an introduction, I'm GV, I'm a dumbass. That's G1, same story.
Hey, I'm... Oh, okay. I see how it is.
we have Stabby there.
Hey, I'm MissStabby.
And we have PenguVA. Yeah, you can guess.
No introductions needed here. Heat. Okay.
Don't you just threw away a gun? Okay.
I have
Anyway,
more of them in my fucking closet.
and we're gonna start talking about VR and VR chat because the devs can't, and we can. Oh,
Yeah,
savage! Okay,
I'm on the fucking players, man.
let me
He's going to find
grab
boss.
the few topics I had prepared for tonight. There we go.
Let me put on push to talk because I'm getting people now.
That's fair. Okay. First things first. VR. What can we do with it right now? Well, we're all VR users, even if two of you are currently in desktop.
Gotta keep that meme fresh, my guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta sometimes lower yourself to the desktop mode just so you can get a good perspective on life. Anyway,
Humility.
VR. Where are we now? Well, who would like to start us off?
Well, VR right now, we're actually we're surpassing like technology really quick because of VR. Now we can have like implemented touch, implemented heat, implemented like weather and shit. Like you can feel people when they touch you now. You just gotta buy that G1 suit, and Lord knows it costs $3,000.
The G1s?
And all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I know, I
I'm
was working on
talking
that.
about publicly available VR like Oculus and
publicly
Vive.
available. You can't say shit about one or the other because Oculus is a lot cheaper and it's a lot better. It's easier to use. It's just plug and play. I would say HTC Vive is also plug and play, but it's just a little bit more added stuff because that little box is faulty sometimes when you buy it. So
I don't really like the controllers on the Vive. They're not.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult on the Vive.
Where's part
They're
of the
working
vibe
on
is the
new
controllers.
ones.
Yeah, they're working on new ones, but they're basically just long Oculus controllers with a pressure sensor.
Yeah, have you seen?
Yeah, they do have pressure sensing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've seen the Oculus 2, have you seen those controllers? They basically took something really nice.
Oh.
And there's something HTC. Sit your ass down.
I was trying to get a drink.
Frightening.
I'm sorry. Good drink.
But yeah, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, so basically but Oculus, the new Oculus 2 is actually meant for people who are like me that has fucking stigmatisms? Cataracts is something. Stigmatism is like whenever your pupils are like football shaped, right? Yeah. They're for people like that. They're like blind and shit. So, it has some built-in adjusting lenses, which I think is pretty revolutionary, and it's just great. It's just
I heard about that.
What's going to be the price about that? Yeah.
Well, you want to hear something funny? I know people who sent their Vive Pro, for instance, because the Vive Pro is the hot new thing in VR goggle land. I know people who sent it back because the LED lights within the goggles were simply too bright and it had hurt their eyes, and there was no way to adjust it to a comfortable level. And of course, those are things you run into, but you also need to keep in mind, like if you're pushing this project, like this goggles, $900, you gotta make sure it's safe. Like if something that you spend $900 on hurts your eyes, you're doing something wrong as a company, if you ask me.
Yeah, you're doing something right. You're not. It's like you just push the project out. You have a good plan. You have the schematics. You have what you need. You have the technology, but you just fucked up. You wanted to push it out. You wanted to get that money. You wanted to get that revenue in quickly as everything else. But you just, a lot of people complained about the freaking HTC Pro, Vive Pro. Even if you look on the YouTube channel, Linus Tech Tips, he even complained about it. Yeah. He notices all the flaws and everything. So.
And it's so incredibly expensive. If you want everything Vive Pro has to offer, you need to pay $1,100. That buys you a complete VR-ready desktop, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So technically, like the Vive Pro isn't like a real successor to the regular Vive. It's basically targeted for businesses who don't care about pricing anyway.
Yeah,
that's why they called it the Pro.
Fair enough.
The only problem is people that try to buy them as consumers will basically end up getting ripped off because of those prices. Which happens.
Okay,
whenever you buy the Vive.
Where are we now? Well, we have virtual reality chat, which works really well, despite optimization being a little shaky, but it's...
Early access. It's early access. Don't worry, it'll be better. It'll be better, I swear.
But it works, and that's what baffles me. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, we're in 2018. We can talk with people across the world, and it's like you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only like 15 years ago when Reboot came out.
Yeah.
Or that other movie that came out this year that was like, VR to 2048.
Oh yeah,
wait, that's
Ready Player One
already.
Yeah, Ready Player One.
It's just only a matter of time before.
No, it's this year already.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before people start, before those touch suits, everything that you feel becomes consumer. And for the people who can afford it, like 3,000. If you look at I was talking this with my buddy Sam Freelance on this thing a while back, with those areas where you can just stand on and you can just run, you can jump, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All you need is speed trackers.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, these touch suits are nice, but actually our brains are already quite good at emulating this. Because if you put your hand on the table and I do like this, you will feel it like...
Yeah, it's really peculiar.
Like some sort of sense.
That's why a lot of people you see like a lot of people hat patting, but you can actually, like, your brain registers it, and it's really odd.
Yeah, it gets translated.
That's what they call a ghost reverb, right? Ghost reverb?
Yeah, or phantom sense and stuff. Yeah.
Phantom sense, yeah, I've had that. Whenever people touch me, sometimes they go like, oh, shit, if you're around me that often and people fucking touch me, it just happens, and it's not all too well, but it works. It's something to try. If people don't have VR, just like, hey, go up to your buddy or one of your good friends that have a VR. Like, hey, can I play VR or something? Can I try it out? Can I see how it is? Just go ahead and ask. You don't have to fucking take it. Just ask, yeah.
The funny thing is, I had no interest in VR whatsoever until I got a VR headset and I put it on and I was sold. Well, I was already sold, but it's hard to comprehend. You need to experience it.
You can't put this in a trailer or anything. Like, people are super skeptical of VR. But the moment they put a headset on and you give them something they can witness or interact with, and suddenly it's all different.
Yeah, no,
Yep,
exactly.
yep.
Because when I started this game back in February, I was like, "Oh, no way in hell I'm paying $450 to dab," you know. And here I am.
Uh-huh.
Here I am with my
Okay.
VR headset.
And he's
Yeah.
never looked back.
Never look back.
I've had the
Never looked
Vive.
back.
I've had the Vive since the beginning, like the Vive prototype even.
Oh,
But
sweet.
I basically had the same thing a few months earlier, but then with my trackers, like there's no way in hell I'm gonna do that. But then like suddenly it's like, you know what? I'll just
Yeah.
get them and then
Yeah.
you can
Yep,
do
I
that.
got the trackers just for this.
So she got the $1,000 fucking DLC, my guy. She can move and she can freaking move her legs. She can move her hands, her head, and her feet and her hips. It's
You
like
know,
the best thing about it.
this entire
This
platform
thing
has
Yeah,
been
this type of
yeah,
this
you
type
go.
of capturing, like full body motion capture, has normally been only the domain of large studios. Like these setups were like as expensive as a car or even as a house. And
Yeah.
now
You can
someone
have it
with a
in your living
relatively
room.
moderate budget can have it in their own living room.
Only
It's
thing
crazy.
is with full body tracking, this game is like one of the very few games which supports it. It's basically nowhere to be found at the moment aside from this game.
And they're actually working on making it even better than it is now.
Yeah, they're gonna make sure you can get more trackers, right? On your elbows, and yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Isn't there?
But the
isn't
thing
there-
is, if people see how well it works in this game, and they will basically try to emulate that in their own projects and their own products.
Yeah.
So this is probably gonna be the one that spearheads this development.
Yeah, well, this game spearheaded VR, I think. Like, aside from like PSVR, which I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was a success. Despite lack of games, people were totally into it. I remember when it came out, I knew a lot of people who just speared to the store and got one.
Yeah, I know a couple people who've only experienced PSVR. They've
Yeah.
never touched a Vive or Oculus or anything like that.
Yeah. They think the people that are watching right now, the 5 people, there's only 3 people in here that are saying, "Yeah, you're not showing the game." I'm like, "No shit, I'm not showing the game. I'm not streaming VR chat. It's a podcast, my guys. Just
Yeah.
there's a reason why there's a blank screen with the McCree is going like he's looking at it, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You done or something?" No, it's just I understand. I'm not showing the screen, guys.
Just a couple of boys chatting
Just people talking.
in the old saloon.
But funny thing is, what I wanted to say, I think G1 remembers. We recently caught wind of basically a VR girlfriend for hire. A woman earning $500 a month just to hug people in VR. You remember that?
Oh, loosely.
Yeah.
That shit actually exists.
Yeah.
Are
And
you fucking-
we were like, this is the gateway into VR cam girls,
Yeah.
VR girls.
I remember that now that you say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
it
know-
shocked me. I was blown away. I had no idea.
Like you can understand, like you don't know who this chick can be. It can be a big girl. It can be a nice looking girl. It could be a skinny girl. You don't know, but
You
that's the
can
best
be-
thing about VR.
Nobody knows you're
Yeah.
a dog in VR.
Nobody knows, man.
Who would have thought that playing RuneScape in 2007, going around saying buying GF, would
Yeah.
lead to this?
And here
I-
people are paying $500 a month to hug a girl virtually. Is this beautiful
that's-
or is this sad?
That's an entrepreneur. That's what that is.
That's
There's
true.
actually also
Fucking-
other things going on. Like aside from that, people are doing commission work to make their own avatars or to have their own
yeah.
avatars made.
And they're charging a
Yeah,
whole fucking
of
arm and a
course.
leg, man.
And these things can cost a whole lot, like just modeling or rigging
Yeah.
and animating,
And
like all these things
I
layer on
really
top.
respect
Oh, yeah.
people like Sentinel, our friend, who puts
Exactly, yeah.
his heart and soul in 3D modeling. But there's also people who simply ask like $50 to port a simple MMD model, a thing that I can do in 3 minutes, and I think that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah.
I was around.
Seeing
I was
those
around
things
some pretty
to be
big.
Just clicking
I was around
next,
some pretty
next,
big
next,
streamers
nothing.
a while ago.
Oh,
Like
guys.
yesterday, I was around some pretty big streamers.
Timus just joined the
Listen to-
stream and he said, "Where are the boobs?"
I don't do fucking.
What
damn it,
Timus do here?
My buddy,
So-
my buddy wants to join.
Yeah, go ahead. No, don't.
No,
don't.
no.
But you were talking.
I
you were
declared it.
saying, yeah.
No, I was like, fuck, what was his name? Like, I was hanging around some pretty big streamers the other day, right? Some pretty big ones.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention these names, and I was around them and said, hey, can you make me an outro? Yeah, that's gonna cost you $140 for base, and if you want anything added, that's gonna be another $58. I'm like, bullshit.
Ooh.
That's
This is fucking, what the hell is this? Like $200 a model.
that's next level. Then I
that's
$140 for a model port. That's new to
Yeah.
me.
So do they ask it to be like a pure port, or do they say like I want like the jacket of that avatar and the boots
Yeah,
of that
basically-
avatar, and then basically mix and match?
Yeah, but even
That's what they were doing,
Frankensteining, charging $140 for that, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's stupid as shit, my guy. What do you mean? Alright, okay. It's easier to learn this shit by trial by error than hiring somebody to do it. I'm lazy as fuck. I get my friends to make my model, right?
Yeah,
And
of
I-
course,
and I'm,
but like if you give them like $5, like, hey, thanks, dude. You know, but if they ask you,
Yeah, I
like,
know
yeah,
what
I
you
can
mean.
do it, but give me $30, then
That's just skeptical. Like, fucking buy them food. Like, I one of my buddies made me one of my models. I bought him a pizza. I was like, fuck yeah, man. But, here, at least let me buy you some food, yeah?
yeah.
Let me get you some food. He was like, sure. Just send it to my PayPal. I was like, shit, yeah, send it to him. It's $15. Yeah,
Exactly.
$15.
Yeah. It's I make all my own models, but then I have tons of free time that I can put into learning the whole process over the past like 6 months. So I totally get how people don't have nearly as much like free time in order to learn all of this stuff, because it really is just one big learning process.
Yeah. It's just
Steep learning curve to figure out how this works, especially if you're not using automated tools and actually doing it the manual way.
Yeah.
Then it's
Like
quite the
if
learning curve.
it's really hard to get into if you have nowhere to go off to, because I got into avatar making about say 2 months ago, but I have a lot of friends, including you, who showed me the way, like how to start with cats, how to manipulate your models in Blender, how to adjust them, how to create shape keys, how to weight paint, and
Yeah.
that's I'm lucky because I have friends like that. But if you don't, you need to follow like 2-hour, 3-hour tutorials just to get one model done, and then you don't even have anything. You just have a model.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is it seems to attract a lot of people that already have these skills. Like, for instance, you see Sentinel, there's also Elhanan, you got me, and basically a lot of people that are very proficient with either modeling or shaders or just 3D packages in general.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they just flock to this place to
It's
Yeah,
work on
which
this
is
kind of
really
stuff.
nice
it's a good place
see.
to show off your craft. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because people like animators, 3D modelers, they're very underrepresented.
Right.
And even people like Pengu, who are aspiring voice actors, can find a good ground here in VR chat to start doing what they want to do. And because this is such a new frontier, there's a lot of space for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I one of my
If you
first
wanna
couple of months in VR, I got a role to do some comic dubs. Is you guessed it, fucking McCree and Junkrat, and then 2 months later, I got hired to fucking do some porno as McCree. I'm not saying where the link is.
Hey.
Yeah, I got paid $500 a month for a small contract of 3 months. So that's $1,500 right there. Easy.
That's the kind of stuff you're going for, you know? That's
Yeah.
Gotta
I've done
pay
too
those
much free
bills.
work. I've done too much free work, but you know, sometimes it's nice to perfect your craft, my guys.
Well,
you
you
know, just
can't
doing shit for
start.
free.
You can't start with doing paid work. You have to.
Yeah, you gotta get your name out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And currently,
yeah.
for me, I think it's more enjoyable to do it just for myself and because I want to do certain things. Because as soon as it's gonna be commission work, you have to deliver, you have to answer to
Yeah,
someone.
well, it starts feeling like a
And I
job, and
already
you
do that
don't
during
want
the
your
day.
hobby to feel like a job.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
And
I
this is
used to.
exactly like this is actually my job. So like
Yeah,
I
but
just do
you
the
you
job
get
part
time
during the
to
day and
relax
then the hobby
here.
part during the evening. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No deadlines.
no
No
deadlines.
Exactly.
I've
If I want
done
to
some
put
voice.
a project on permanent hiatus, I can do that. I don't have to
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
disappoint someone.
you
good.
won't have to hear your boss about it.
It's one thing I hate about like working for somebody. Like I won't say anything,
Dealing
but
with the person.
yeah, dealing with the person, right. In a certain area of group, it was a dub for an anime. I turned in all my work and I showed evidence that I fucking did. They fired me because they said I lacked turning in my stuff. But I sat there for fucking 3 hours editing an audio clip, making it sound nice, making it sound crisp, fucking clipping out what all my errors, everything I didn't need to do. And they're like, "So you didn't turn in your work, my man?" I'm like, "Dude, I turned in my script. I fucking I snipped where we talked," and they're like, "No, you fucking did it. It's not your work, my guy. That's the wrong script." I said, "Then what's the right script?" Sends me the same fucking script. I'm like, okay, yeah. Fire me. I'm not gonna do this shit anymore. It sucks working for somebody.
But that's,
Yeah, damn, dude.
yeah, but you know, a lot of companies are currently going down because of mismanagement, and this is like bad customer relationships is really a no-go when you're trying to run a business, if you ask me.
Unless you're HTC.
Unless you're ACC.
What's with
You
HTC?
gotta choose. HTC have the worst customer service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do.
It's awful. It's awful. There's the Vive subreddit is just full of stories like, I sent my Vive controller away to get fixed. It's been 8 months. They still haven't marked it as having arrived.
God.
I think that you're better off making use of like the local retail support.
Yeah.
They just swap it out and
I'll
they
tell you
just
what I
claim
did.
it as a loss. And,
Yeah.
When my Vive controller broke, I went on Amazon and bought a pack of Dayard's multifunction screwdrivers. That's what I did. So you know, because I'm not even if it voids the warranty, you know, I'm not waiting 8 months with one controller.
No, well,
That's
I
fucking
had
true.
no idea. That's shitty as hell.
I gotta say though, the support for developers is a lot better, luckily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well they're the people who are getting people to buy your
Yeah.
Vive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like initially I upgraded the headset with a special the audio strap thing, but because I was using a prototype, it normally wouldn't work because it had a different mounting point compared to the release version.
Yeah.
So then they shipped out like a little adapter bolt free of charge and threw in a little T-shirt.
That's
damn.
nice. That's cute. Yeah.
Support.
Yeah. Just to tell everyone who's watching, we're having 6 people watching. I have an Oculus Rift, the release version, no development kit. You have a regular Vive, right?
I've got a regular consumer Vive, yeah.
With 3 trackers, 3 additional trackers, right?
Yep. Yeah, 3 tracky boys.
You have a prototype Vive.
Yeah, the Vive Pre, which is not the Pro, but the Pre. And then with 3 additional trackers.
And what do you have?
I have an Oculus, but it's kind of shitty now. The foam kind of wore off, and I bought a new one, and that one's already out. I'm just waiting for a new one to come back in. So, I'm a big man. I sweat a lot. That foam isn't
same.
gonna last a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, that foam ain't gonna last a lot.
Someone told me you can buy like leather face plates, and apparently
you can?
they're
Yeah, the Dark
amazing.
Cover has those, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
It's
few,
so
but
much-
the thing is
like that would
they
get
don't
hot.
really like to stick.
Yeah, but
on
they're
very
like,
well, so
no, and you won't sweat, and I'm like, I'm not too sure, so I've been holding off on it. But if my
I've got them, but the thing is, it's almost like putting a plastic bag on your skin. Like there's no ventilation
bleeding.
going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
I already
downside.
get
Like,
that.
of course, it doesn't get.
That's why you don't sweat, because your eyes
Yeah.
will die.
Exactly. I
nice
already
and
did
moist
that.
in there.
like it
It already does that to my
basically
face. So.
like moves the problem to a different area,
Yeah,
which
Uh-huh.
might be even worse than the original one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still
I'm
on
glad.
my first foam right here. Never thought that the foam on my headset.
Dude, I thought the phone would be like fucking perfect on mine, right? Never go. I'll fucking send a photo and send it to you in the chat of what this shit looks like right now.
Okay,
hold
okay.
on.
I myself, I occasionally clean the foam because my hair gets stuck in it, and it starts getting
Oh, okay.
tickly. So
Yeah, I understand. No,
yeah,
continue, my guy. I'm sorry, I interrupted
yeah.
you. I'm just saying.
I grab some pliers, and I pull the hairs out of the foam, and then I reattach it, and it's clean. I have to do this like every month, otherwise everything will get really itchy. It's weird.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Ooh, allergic to your own fucking hair, my guy.
Yeah, I'm allergic to anything, man.
Sorry, boss man. I can't let you in me. Decline. Okay. So look in the general chat. That's what my phone
Yeah, I
looks
just
like right
saw
now,
it.
and that's what I fucking use. Yeah. Fucking, it's disgusting. I gotta buy a fucking third pair.
I'm
I'd rather
gonna,
buy
yeah.
the leather ones because yeah.
I'm gonna look on my phone for a bit. Hold on.
Yeah. So I'd rather like get that fucking get that leather one because I have a little bit of ventilation through my nose and I have a fan right here. If you can't hear it.
I could hear it earlier. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically good for me. So if it lasts long and if it just helps right, then it's worth my money because I'm tired of buying like freaking
why-
3 pairs every month.
Why is your
Yeah.
plastic like safety orange though?
that's what I was
Because
thinking.
that's what the plastic was because it was a cheap $20 faceplate. I thought my dumbass, yeah. So fucking this is actually it's ABS plastic, my guy. So it's just fuck it. $20 is $20, but sucking dick is sucking dick. Sucking dick only takes 5 minutes. Cleaning up takes a fucking hour. So would you rather like have that shit for a good hour and finish it off like later on?
No, dude.
Or would you rather-
I just work.
What? You just work.
I prefer working to sucking dick.
Well, man, the reason why I started streaming more often is because my buddies were like telling me to fucking stream, and then I got fired. So, this is all I could do. All I could fucking. I have like, how much money do I have in front of me right now? I was at the store earlier, fucking $26.
Ooh.
$26 to my fucking name.
Dude, speaking of America and money, you guys can go out for dinner for like $5, right? And you have like fucking meal the size of Texas.
Yeah. Fuck you, I'm in Texas. Fuck you.
You could fit the whole of the U.S. in Texas.
Try that in Sweden, and you have about 3 or 4 times that amount.
Big place.
Yeah. We here in Europe, and I'm not sure if it's the same in Great Britain, but takeout food is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's like $30 for one fucking pizza.
Oh no, not that crazy. We pay like 8 to $12 for a pizza.
No. Okay, that's like Little Caesar. That's like Pizza Hut pizza right there. But for like
Yeah, we have
$12 you can
Domino's
get like
here.
yeah, that's basically where my friend ordered it from. Oh my god, I got a burp, but I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Yeah, I just throw up. Anyway,
Power through. Power through.
she ordered in, and we were talking, and she ordered pizza. I was like, how much did it cost? It costed her $30 for one pizza, and
What?
$10 more for one pizza, and then and $10 more for that chocolate brownie pizza. And when
Where
she
does this
ate
woman
it,
live?
That better be
In
a quality
Australia.
pie.
Australia.
Oh,
It wasn't-
Australia.
Yeah,
Australia.
but aren't but on
Those
the
are
contrary,
Australian dollars, right?
like, yeah, Australian
Australia,
dollars
yeah.
are
Yeah, okay.
Shady.
Australian dollars have a different value from American dollars.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you,
it's,
you buy a game in
my
America.
74. Yeah.
You buy a game in America. They release at 60. In Australia, they release at 90 or 100 Australian dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, it's 74 cents to a
What
dollar.
I
My
what I
74
wonder
cents is
then is like, do people earn more as well?
Yeah, they do. They earn more money over there, and
Yeah, but only
But it's like kind of-
artificially.
Usually it balances out mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
it's like how living in California, right? You work there. I have a friend that is in California. She's a female, and she works by fitting bras on these tight-bodied women that love to work out, right? And I'm like, I wish I could be in your place. She's like, yeah, it's $15 an hour. I was like, what? That's a lot of fucking money. No, that's nothing over here. Cause shit's
Yeah.
expensive. I'm like,
Yeah.
how much is a house? How much is an apartment? Oh, it's like $1,000 a month. Like, what?
Yeah.
And it's just for a little shitty one bathroom.
And yeah.
Is it like Los Angeles?
Yeah.
It's just Los Angeles, California. Yeah.
Yeah, because LA is crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid.
There's so
It's
many,
like a whole different country
so
over there.
many people living there, though. It's so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the melting
yeah.
pot.
Dude, I don't understand why other people want to go to California. Sure, it's by a bay, but I live near the Gulf Coast.
Mhm.
Sure, we have fucking oil in our goddamn ocean, and there's jellyfishes that will sting you, and fishes that may
yeah.
want to bite you, and sharks that will fucking kill you. But that hasn't happened in a while. Back in 1960, I think it was 1960 or 1970, we had a German U-boat wash up upon our shore. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, the fuck is this? How come the hell does a German World War II U-boat wash up upon our shore, and that shit hasn't been recognized? And it was just the dumbest thing. And it's Corpus Christi Bay. Yeah. My brother sent me this stupid fucking photo, like, today. And I know this is completely off topic, right?
Yeah.
But my place where I live... I'm sorry, I'm totally sorry, but the
No,
place where I live
we'll
is just
go
so
back
fucking
on
stupid.
topic once you're done with your story.
Like, my brother sent me this photo, and it's these two lovers. They're like, I love you so much. Is there anything I can do for you? The woman says, well, you could come move to Corpus Christi with me. And then you see this dude kicking her off a fucking cliff and says, "Ta puta madre," or no, is a estúpida pendeja. Let me see, I have the photo right here.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, estás pendejas. There you go, estás pendejas.
I don't get.
So,
I don't get the
speak
joke.
Spanish.
Yeah, I do. I understood it. He doesn't have to translate it. But
Okay.
But what's the point? Is it relevant?
Corpus Christi is a
Nobody
very...
likes Corpus Christi.
No, because Corpus Christi is a very shitty place, and it's hard to even get a fucking VR here. I almost went to Amazon, but thank God I had a Best Buy. They had one left, and they weren't gonna have one for another year.
Cool.
Yeah, so I bought that shit. Looking,
Anyway, let's get back on topic.
I'm
Let's
sorry about
move
that.
to the second point. Second point on my list is, what do you see in the future? Well, what do we see in the future? I see, like Pengu started off with, sensory suits, like the
Yeah.
the mocap,
Haptic feedback.
haptic feedback, touching suits. Yeah, how
There you go.
long will that take? I think 4 or 5
Pretty
years.
sure there's already like people working on it.
Yeah, but like
there's videos,
for
like
for
prototypes.
consumers, you know, like us people.
oh,
Consumer, yeah.
it'll be out next year. It'll be out by I think next year. I was reading up on it like a while back, and they
So
said
I
they should be
think
ready for
that's,
consumers in 2 years.
I think-
which is
I
I think that's
what-
in the works for next generation headsets. Is stuff like foveated rendering, where they basically track the eyes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
only where you're looking, it makes it sharp. So that way they can save a lot on processing factor,
Yeah,
processing
yeah.
powers,
Those with the
while like
lenses,
increasing
right?
fidelity a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's actually done all in software. Like, there's currently like Tobii has like eye tracking equipment that already fits in headsets,
Cool.
and now they're just working on ways to make it so that they can actually use that to do stuff like LODs and resolution upscaling or
That's
downscaling, depending on where
fantastic.
it's parts. of your vision.
That's awesome. I mean, that's just like how your eye works, you know.
Yeah,
Like there's only an area in the center of your vision that is actually in focus.
The only
Most of it's
problem
all
is
blurry.
that your eyes move like super fast, so it's kind of a challenge to.
Yeah, well,
Software's
I
gonna keep
think the worst thing with things like that is wear. Like the software, the thing, it'll wear really quickly because you move
Why?
a lot.
Why would that wear out? It's an optical based system.
Oh.
So just
No,
like-
I had something else in mind. They're working on this headset. Pengu mentioned it earlier, which basically has like cameras that track your eyes and they move.
yeah,
And
that's
they,
how it works. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and they no, but they have lenses, like camera lenses that go small and go big, and focus.
What, like dilate?
Yeah.
Multifocal
Yeah,
VR. I've heard of it.
multifocal,
Yeah.
And my worry with that is wear, like
Like the mechanical aspect of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they might be able
I
to
can
do this
answer this
as like a
question right
sort of solid state technology.
Yeah.
Where,
I can
like,
answer
there's
this question.
barely any moving parts in there.
Yeah, no, there's moving parts inside of it. There's if you look at the video right now, if you look inside it, open up, it has auto-adjusting lenses and all
Yeah.
that stuff. It will, and it has a 40% more view range to your peripherals, and it's just pretty badass. It looks into your eyes and see what's wrong. If you have what was it again? Astigmatism or cataracts.
Yeah.
Wait, was it?
But
yeah.
where?
Yeah,
It will
that's the
adjust
thing
to
though. The
But
eye
where?
tracking software can basically see exactly where your eyes are and account
Yeah.
for that, and even like how
Yeah.
your eyes are shaped and how they're focusing. So
Mhm.
this is all gonna be probably for the next generation or the generation after.
Yeah, and
It's
when
gonna-
are
it's
we
gonna be for the next
expecting-
generation.
When are we expecting the next generation? I say 4 to 5 years.
Now,
Maybe
let
even
me-
sooner,
let me-
like maybe 2.
It's Oculus. Hold on, let me look at Oculus 2 release date. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure, like Valve are working on a whole overhaul. You know, they've got their 2.0 base stations that they're working on. They've got like stuff like my trackers are 2.0 compatible. It's just incremental improvements, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing is though, like Oculus and HTC won like the first round of doing VR, while also PSVR also got a nice share of it. But there's many other different companies that are working on their headsets to join in the second round and the third round.
Yeah,
So
Like
now
I've
it's
been seeing
almost
this,
like a two-system thing going on.
Yeah.
Actually, currently that's already happening because you get the mixed reality platform from Microsoft,
Yeah.
and all kinds of companies are joining with their own mixed reality headsets.
So, like
So,
Pixmax has their 8K.
Yeah, the Pimax.
headset.
You got actually Star VR is also a headset
Wow.
that is gonna be worked on. They're working
So,
on it.
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, many others, yeah.
For Oculus 2. Fucking the touch controllers are separate. You have to buy a different controller. It's gonna cost you fucking $300 for these controllers.
Yeah, but what about we were
That's
talking
like the
about
Razer
the
Blade model.
headset?
The standalone
Give away the
Oculus
headsets
Go.
for free, and then the controllers
No,
are gonna be
not the
charged.
not the
to
No,
Oculus
no,
Go,
it's-
the
no,
Oculus 2. We were looking
I
at
know.
the
I'm looking
Oculus
at. I'm
2.
looking at the Oculus 2. Yeah, I'm looking
Because
at
the Oculus
just
Go
too.
is a scam.
Yeah, I'm fucking. I know it is.
It's basically like a Gear
just like a
VR
mobile
where
headset.
you can't remove the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at. I'm looking it up, and it says right here the release date for this shit. It's gonna be somewhere between next year and the next 2 years, but probably it's already in testing right now, and it's
that
gonna be probably
doesn't
released
say
next
shit.
year or 2 years from now. Yeah, I know. That's what
Yeah.
I'm reading. It's just a lot of bullshit. It's just a lot of ads. Just a lot of fake shit right here. But all of this is just referring back to the Oculus Go, and I typed in specifically Oculus 2. This is just not showing me shit. All it just says is, Oculus 2's and testing release date maybe next year, maybe the year after. Who knows? Keep tuned. Just keep reading.
But yeah,
just-
I think we can safely say that we'll get haptic feedback suits at some point. The question is, will it make its way into households, or will it be like a show floor thing?
Yeah.
That's a good
I think
question.
it all
That's a good
depends
question.
on the price and probably generation. Like maybe the first generations are only for companies, show floors, medical things, like sports research and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then as time progresses, these things get cheaper, they're more efficient and more prevalent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
As
suddenly,
a-
like a company like Valve or some other company will start widely supporting it in their software. And then, like, it's basically gonna appear everywhere.
Yeah.
As
So
a consumer, I'm not personally. I'm really not interested in haptic suits. That doesn't appeal to me
No, me
personally
neither.
at the moment.
Full body
Okay.
tracking, like with a suit, that would be great.
Yeah.
But haptic feedback seems a little unnecessary.
Like VR was always
Yeah.
interesting to me.
The thing is, like, it
Full body
depends
was
how
always
it's done.
interesting, but haptic, yeah, it's just
If haptics is just like a bunch of little like vibrating
little
motor or
nodes.
stuff
Yeah.
on different points
Like
of your
little
body,
fiber
that's
nodes.
gonna
Yeah.
be quite
Yeah.
lame.
yeah.
Just
If
the
it's
fact that
something that they can actually
I
mimic other types of senses, then it might be interesting.
Yeah, like
just that I already have
imagine,
to
like if you
tie yeah.
If a suit can only like mimic bullet
no,
impacts, then
but like
you can
imagine,
get
like
Okay, stop. I've been shot 5 times. Let's not feel that.
hold on.
Yeah, no haptics for you.
Imagine like a suit with like motors and like muscle bands. Like if someone squeezes your arms, that the thing contracts and it goes like wee. That I don't think like VR has a future. Haptic feedback suits, I think, is gonna be more of a gimmick rather than something people
Yeah.
will really get into. You
Yeah.
run
Actually,
into
something
the
that's
you-
interesting. You could see it as a sort of haptic, but some companies are also developing ways to influence your inner ear, like your what you call it, your
Eardrum.
balance sense, basically. So
Oh,
basically,
your balance,
that
yeah.
it would allow you, like when you're playing a racing game or a flying game or
to
stuff like that,
feel the pressure.
they can actually
Ah.
experience G-forces and movements without having
Now,
to be
that
flung in a simulator.
is pretty cool and would have great
But-
purpose within training and such.
Yeah. The only
But
problem
there's
is,
a
like, if that thing malfunctions, you basically, like,
Yeah,
can't
you
walk
lose
straight because
hearing.
your sense of balance is basically
Yeah.
shut down at that moment.
Yeah, but that's the
Yeah.
dangers you're gonna go with if the haptic feedback suits ever, like, even during the production phase, something will go wrong. You can't really. Nothing is made without sacrifices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then
that
think
poor
of
soul.
suits that could actually give force feedback, like a rigid skeleton, that kind of stuff. Could work very nice. Like you can sit on a virtual chair and there's suddenly something you can sit on. But the downside of that is, like, if that thing malfunctions, you might have to
Guys-
go to the hospital.
Harkuri is in chat
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
asking, "Is this the VR chat developer update with Tupper?"
Yeah,
Hey guys,
totally,
welcome
man.
to
Yeah,
the
it's
VR chat
Tupper.
development update video. Today
It's
we're
Tupper.
talking about haptic feedback.
Haptic feedback and how it's a gimmick.
Oh man, just I don't know. Dude, that whole thing about G-force. About I know a couple buddies that went through pilot training, and that shit ain't. They told me that shit ain't fun because if you can't handle up to 6 G-forces, you will pass out like hardcore.
thing
So if
is,
you're in
like,
your VR,
With that stuff, you will only feel the G-forces, but not actually undergo them. Because it's only
Yeah.
simulated in the place in your ear where you're sensing it, instead of, like,
But-
actually blood being driven away from your
feel like that would
brain.
from your
Quite
legs,
a really
it's from
weird
your legs.
association,
Yeah.
though. That might
Yeah.
make you more nauseous.
Yeah, I think.
know,
Yeah,
like,
but
Or
Or
less,
anything
because the
else.
thing is, like, the thing that makes people nauseous is the mismatch between what they see and what they feel in
What
their
they
inner
feel,
ear.
yeah.
So when people are playing, for instance, a racing game or a flying game, they get sick because what they see doesn't match with what they feel in their inner ears. So as soon as they can get those two to line up again, you can suddenly play race games or roller coasters without getting sick from it. Aside from the regular sickness that someone could experience when sitting
Yeah, I
in a
get
real
sick
one, of
on a
course.
regular roller coaster.
But
I can't ride roller coasters.
As
I'm
soon
too
as
fucking
those
tall.
two start to line up, your brain is suddenly like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool
But-
to see how that progresses.
But I won't lie. I've never experienced a roller coaster. I've always been too tall. I've been to the point where they've told me I'm too tall and I will hit my head on a rock and become decapitated. So it's just
You should try to go
Yeah, I
to roller
can't-
coasters in Europe or at least in Netherlands. They
Yeah, we're taller.
Hey
account for
guys,
tall people.
Harkuri is giving us a compliment. He said, "Hey, only just catching up on everything, but damn, you got this all set up fast. What I've seen so far is great. Keep it up." So,
Hey, thanks, Hickory.
no, I
Whoa
agree.
there.
I
Three
agree.
claps.
I kind of agree. This all went really smooth. It only took me a day to set this up, and everything's just. I really like this. I hope you guys
Yeah.
are enjoying
yeah.
it as well. Yeah.
I love having a good conversation here now and then. I usually don't do that anymore in VR chat because everyone's like, "Hey, can you say something for me?
Well, can you do the McCree voice? Can you do the McCree?
Like, wait there, can you do the McCree voice for me? No there. Think I'm gonna do it for you? Hell no. Fucking bastards. Chasing
Get
all
out
the
of my
goddamn...
bar.
Oh,
get out of my
oh,
goddamn
oh
bar.
yeah. You. It was Lakuza who said it, but he had the same username color as Harkuri, so I.
Shout out to the cruiser.
Shout out to Lakuza and me reading his name wrong.
Yeah.
Sweet shit. Thanks anyway, dude.
I love that guy.
Appreciate it.
I love that. I love you, random citizen that's inside the chat. Yeah, I
Random
love you.
citizen.
Hey, make a mind reference.
Random citizen. This dude is the man who made the Final Fantasy boss battle world.
Oh shit, it's that dude. Hell yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I was
He's
there.
he's a good friend of our server. And a friend of me.
Oh, dude.
Top lad.
That's right. I remember that. I totally remember that.
Yeah.
Fucking D.S. McCree fighting off that goddamn boss. Let me tell you what. I was there the other day though on that map. And things aren't well. It's half done. I didn't expect to be full, but you know, I thought
He's
it
got
was gonna be the whole
every
boss
week,
battle,
yeah.
but
Yeah, he's updated
yeah,
every
I know.
week.
I understand. I've understanded that, but I thought like when I was over there, the boss battle was gonna be the whole thing, like it was over there, but now it's just halfway done. I was like, oh shit, fuck, right? Because I was having such a good time, right? I was awesome, and then it just like
Yeah, but it's a teaser.
it is a teaser, and I fucking hate being teased, and I hate waiting. That is my fucking thing. That is my curse.
It's not
I
like
cannot
he
wait.
tricked you. It's not like he tricked you.
I know he's. I know he did. It's just like I hate. It's one thing I hate, right? My fucking all my life I hate being teased. When somebody tells me like this game's coming up,
You know what's even worse than being teased? Being blue balled. Like, oh, you're gonna get this now.
don't.
Yeah,
Fucking
everywhere.
Venge in the chat and McCree.
Don't promise me things and then take them away.
Yeah, it's just fucking weird. Like it's just like it's like Fallout 4. I heard there was gonna be like vehicles, right? And then when I played, there's no fucking vehicle. Son of a bitch!
Well,
I took that shit away.
okay, Fallout. While we're on the topic of Fallout, we can take a break talking from VR. Let's discuss Fallout 76.
Oh my
This is the
god.
tangent section. Tangent section. Of the,
Tangent
Tangent,
section.
tangent.
Tangent section. Okay, Fallout 76. What we know is it's gonna be a survival style multiplayer game with the Fallout label on it. Because
all it
it's
is. It's just
easy
fucking
money.
Easy money. And I don't even think it has anything to follow with the whole fucking Fallout lore. I know my brother right now. Every time I
My
fucking see him,
friends, they're angry because I have a few friends who are
enraged.
really thick into Fallout, and they're like, "What the fuck is this fucking shit?" And I agree with
exactly.
them.
There's no storyline.
No,
There's no story. There's no plot.
Better be
There's
no
shit.
goddamn jet in Fallout 76, so I swear to God, Todd, I'm coming.
But what about the super mutants?
There's already super mutants in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What happened to the FE? What was it? Was it
FEV,
first?
Yeah, FEV,
FEV,
forced
yeah,
evolution
evolutionary
virus. Created by
Yes,
the
fucking-
master, in like
Yeah.
way, I agree. I might give it a shot. if I can get it cheap at some point, because then I'll know if it's good. But currently, I'm not interested. And I pre-ordered Fallout 4.
Yeah, I have the fucking Pip-Boy right behind me,
Yeah,
my
me
guy.
too.
Trust me.
I do like the special edition with the T51 with the T51B. That's insane. It's really cool, but I'm not gonna. I don't care. I really don't.
They sold out
care.
in minutes also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I was gonna pre-order that bitch, but then what the fuck?
Hold on. Oh,
Are
it's
you on the
Iron
table
Maiden.
again?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It happens whenever I move. My.
Yeah, it does that. I realized whenever I was looking at Fallout 76, whenever the nukes were dropping with.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, that part
with
is
the-
kind
with
of
the
weird.
power-
Like, you're just playing, you're just doing your day-to-day stuff, and then suddenly, like, some
Fucking.
random griefer tries to set
Yeah.
you because he
Hey,
has
First
Iron
thing I
Maiden,
thought
welcome
of-
to the stream.
No. Like if you look at the cover for Fallout, the original Fallout, and then you look at the fucking image right before he gets nuked, it's basically the same
I
fucking image.
love
Yeah.
that. Like, I love that subtle little reference. It was
Yeah, it was
better
pretty
than it
good.
had any right to be. I really need to sit down properly.
You need to send that chair.
Yeah, hold on.
Sit in
My,
that chair.
my camera flooped-de-dooped. Hold on.
First thing I thought of when I saw that trailer, when I saw those nukes is I know that within like 2 weeks of that game coming out, there's gonna be a hack going around where you can
There's
just
gonna be
spawn a
wacky
bunch of
Russian
nukes.
children.
Mm-hmm.
or
It's just
you
gonna be-
can,
No.
They're
Yeah, you
gonna
can-
blot out the sun.
yeah, like basically say like, you know what? Let's launch one every 1 kilometer, like in a grid
Yeah.
pattern on the map.
Let's
Oh, no.
recreate
Yeah.
the 2-hour war or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like. I
Or
think
they're
it's
gonna
be
make
like
it
that.
so that like it looks very impressive, but it's actually really underpowered, and it's only like a visual thing
Well,
that looks pretty.
It looks. I'm pretty sure that there's an actual effect. Like there's an irradiated, like
Yeah.
glowing sea type effect.
Whenever
Yeah.
you nuke something,
So-
yeah,
I'm
What I
happy
can
with
imagine
that.
them doing is basically, you know how LODs work, like that they have different
Yeah.
levels of
Yeah,
detail
yeah.
they could swap out. They could basically do the same thing, but then for a destroyed version of the entire map. So
Yeah,
they
but
basically
it's also
fade
gonna
in the
destroy
parts from
buildings
destroyed
and
to,
like
not.
destroy buildings that
Oh,
people
is it-
made.
True.
Still,
So it's-
I'm not too excited about it.
I'm gonna give it a
First have to
try.
see
It was
where
the whole,
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, the whole Steam thing about like playing it for 2 hours and then you can fucking refund it. That's a good thing. You have an hour and 58 minutes of gameplay
Yeah.
just to get your bearings. And if you like it, fucking keep it. If you don't, fucking
Then
get your
you'll
money
know.
back. That's all
Yeah,
you can do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on to our next subject. Oh, hold on. What is VR chat? We're getting into VR chat territory now.
Okay.
What
Oh.
is
I played
VR
that once, I
chat?
think.
Someone got their knuckles at
No.
Don't say that word.
It's the knuckles are, for your information, viewers. Even though you're most of my friends from VR chat, Knuckles is dead.
Yeah,
Don't-
the Knuckles meme is dead
Don't
completely.
even
Yes,
bother.
as it should be.
Like, I don't even know how the fuck it started. Like,
Well, I'm glad
I-
it did though, because if it didn't, I would have never found out. It really
That
gave
is
the
true,
game a
that
lot
is
of
true.
traction.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I
was
remember
a
my
rough
first
couple
couple of
months.
weeks. Yeah, I remember my first couple of weeks of VR chat. I was a fucking marching band cat, and I met a lot of people, and a lot of people trying to say I sounded like Swagger Souls. I sounded like this one person, and I sound like these random fucking YouTubers. And I was like, I was scared to speak. You know, I was that antisocial little prick no one wanted to talk to
I'm
until I
upset.
actually spoke.
Now, well,
Is
I'm
that
not really
Markiplier?
upset, but people call me
Exactly.
Joel Vinesauce. No, yeah, Joel Vinesauce.
Joel Vine.
I don't see it.
No,
I don't see
I
it.
don't see it either, boys.
I don't see
Like a maid to me.
it.
Like, yeah, you look like a man to me. Hell yeah.
You're a
I'll
developer
take you
to
in my
me.
bed and I'll show you where to
I wish.
clean up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we talked about blowjobs, but no, I'm not gonna do your cleaning duty. You want this $5?
Dude, I suck
You gotta
dick
work
for
hard.
dude, I fucking in Arma. I suck dick for Lamborghini apparently, and that's like my
Damn.
whole thing in my fucking stream server. Yeah. So this dude was like, you know what? I like you so much. Can you want a Lamborghini? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like, you get a Lamborghini unless you say one thing. I said, what? It's new. And I'm like, God damn it, I can't.
Easy money. You can't deny
But you get a
that.
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But it's not a real fucking Lamborghini. It's an Arma. That shit ain't real. It's a fucking game.
Well, you just got played. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't spend fucking $6 million on a fucking Lamborghini. Well, tabs. So yeah.
All right.
I'm
Anyway, let's move on. What is VR chat? VR chat is a virtual reality chat space where you can basically do anything you want. If you're me,
I
or
I was gonna say it's like Microsoft Messenger, but with actual physical bodies and like instead of fucking typing.
It's nicer. I think it's
It's a lot nicer.
It's a lot more engaging.
I know people. I'm like, oh, let's go into VR chat. Let's have a talk, and they're like, no, I just want to text chat, and I don't get that. Like nothing beats being here.
Exactly.
Because you can read people's body language. You
Yeah,
can
exactly.
See what they gesture.
Even in desktop, you can get a real feel for someone.
Oh my god, just you can do that. What the fuck is that? Hold on. There's a crack in my ceiling and there's like black shit coming out.
What? Is this the Grudge?
Is this Prey?
No, it's
The
fucking
Typhon.
roaches. That's what it is.
Oh.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
VR chat.
VR chat's great.
A virtual space.
Yeah, a virtual space where you can meet people from around the world without much ado.
It's also a really
This is
great
like-
creative outlet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because that's the interesting thing. Like VR chat is currently, as far as I know, one of the few programs that lets you directly upload into the game and have it go live in seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you press the upload button in the SDK, you can already, like, the moment it completes, you can just
You
go into the
can-
menu and load up the avatar or the world or whatever you
Yeah,
upload.
exactly. And
There's-
because of this freedom, which the devs, by the way, are trying to restrict and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because of this freedom, it'll allow people to do anything they've ever dreamed of, as long as Unity can support it. But
Yeah, you
Then
can
you
use it
see-
for creative stuff, but you can also get stuff that, like, if someone looks
Yeah.
at it, they'll lose their Twitch already, like that kind of.
Yeah, that's that kind of stuff. Exactly. And but that kind of stuff, like, freedom comes at the expense of those kind of things. That's
Agreed.
you just
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna get. But don't let the people with peculiar avatars ruin it for people like us. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
you
trying
gotta
to
look
say.
at it from a creative standpoint as well as a business standpoint, because
Yeah.
for the developers, this is a business, you know.
Yeah.
Pay $30 for the standard kit for uploading in Unity. Hell yeah.
Oh, I
Take
like
easy
see
money.
people suggest things on the Discord.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's charge like $5 for 10 avatar slots, because that way, people won't be loading tons of avatars and lagging at my game on my Celeron CPU all the time.
Yeah.
Oh
Don't
my
do
god.
that.
Celeron?
Don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a price of admission, I wouldn't be too opposed to that, as long as it's like $5 or $10. That's
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
letting people pay for avatar world slots is a really big no, because you'll be limiting their creativity and by extent your own content.
Yeah, I've been arguing that
Yeah.
like every time that's come up in the Discord. I've been talking about how I am annoyed that I cannot pay VR Pill $5, right?
Yeah.
There's few games that I actually actively want
No, me
to
too.
pay for.
Like, I would love to, in some way, support this, but I can't.
Yeah, currently, the ones earning more.
They
most,
don't have a Patreon. They don't have advertisements, which is fine. Like, even in-world advertisements. I would be fine with, like, in-world advertisements or loading screen advertisements. Those be fine. But I just want to be like, oh, Patreon, I'll give them a few bucks a month. Just because I want to
Yeah, I
support
really
what they're
think
The thing is,
doing.
like,
that they
currently the
should
one
just charge
earning
$5.
most of your chat is HTC or
Yeah.
Oculus.
Yeah.
They are moving headsets like crazy, and
Yeah.
like, not even to speak about the trackers. Like, people are ordering those by the
Yeah, yeah,
truckload,
Yeah.
and every time they get in supply, they sell out like nearly the same day.
Yeah.
So,
And-
I
and,
can
uh,
that's what I'm saying.
And also, my problem is I would love to support them, but I hope they use the money to pay people who know what they're doing, because that's the big block of concrete that's keeping this game at its feet. It's the inexperienced developers, and no
As far as,
disrespect towards them, but they do not know their own community.
Yeah. They don't. Okay,
But I
so
guess that's
not-
true for any developer that starts out making their first game or first project.
Yeah,
This game's blown up,
It's,
you know.
but
part of
it's really easy to get to know your community within this game. That's what I'm trying to say.
though they do outreaching and they do have.
I mean, they
testing
have the
programs
canny.
and stuff like that.
And they have the feature request section in the Discord, you know.
Yeah, but most devs, well, the devs that are on every page when you see VR chat, most of them have a bad rep for dealing with people inadequately, for instance, or saying things that can absolutely are insane in this context, like in this community's face, and I don't get that. Why
feel-
would you do that?
I feel like though, people are more likely to report a negative experience than a positive one. I think there's an aspect of that to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not. Every time Tupper gives me a high five, you know, I'm not gonna go tell everybody. But you know,
Yeah,
if somebody like if staff member starts like cussing you out or something, you'll be like, damn, like that's not how you handle a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. It's just like there has been word. I've heard this. Like there's like some corrupt developers and shit. It's just I don't know. That's what I've been hearing, and something about some bullshit. That's all I heard, and I was like, really? You're gonna
Hey,
corrupt your
guys.
own fucking game?
Guys, we've just been raided by like by 10 people. One of my friends
Hey.
sent her viewers here. Hi everyone.
Well, shit. Welcome.
Hi
welcome,
everyone from
Yeah.
Angela's stream. Welcome to
Welcome
the
to the
world of
discussion.
VR, and welcome to the world of
Well,
VR.
yeah.
Feel free to
Yeah.
participate if you have any opinions about what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Um,
Go ahead and
If
chat.
you
Yeah.
have a question, please let us know. Please let us know. We're currently discussing VR chat and VR as a whole. If you have anything to add to this discussion, don't be afraid to throw it out there. Okay. But yeah, community management is hard. My main issue is even on a base of like volunteers, they're understaffed because moderation is poor. People who do not deserve it get banned, and people who deserve to get banned get nothing. Or when something really
It's-
when something really bad happens, you can't just like call a mod and boom, there will be someone on the spot to deal with the issue. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of my
I know
biggest
that.
gripes with this game is the moderation. It's I like the way that you have to. I feel like everybody's being expected to record videos all the time
Yeah,
because
yeah, they're
and then
really
submit it in a
banking
Google
on
Doc.
that, and I
it
don't.
has to be 2 minutes long.
Yeah, I don't
You know,
think
and it's
that's
like-
the right way to go. They're
No.
like they're catering to streamers, and right now I'm streaming. That's fine, but it's
No,
not
but you're not streaming other
about
people for
the
content, man.
streamers. It's not about the
Yeah.
streamers. It's about the people.
From as far as I'm aware, from what I've seen and when I've talked to developers and like staff and stuff on the
Yeah,
Discord
yeah,
server, that system was implemented when the community was a lot smaller and when that was a lot more realistic of an option for moderation.
Yeah.
But after the great Knuckles boom of the
They're
start of this
trying
year,
to catch up, basically.
Yeah.
we got and they just haven't updated that system yet.
Got
Yeah.
bigger
And
than
it's
they ever
it's not
expected.
adequate as
No.
far as I'm concerned
Yeah.
Faster
for the current
as
player
well.
base.
I
Wow,
see.
so many people are getting mad that I'm not showing anything in the image. Sucks dick. Ow. Ow.
Your streamer,
Well,
your,
see-
your viewers have no idea what good content is.
Brutal.
I went from like 6 to 1 to 2 to 1.
Yep.
Wow.
This is
But we love that one.
we
Wherever
currently
you are, we
have,
love you.
we currently have 14 viewers, guys, for my first stream.
God. God damn, look
Hey,
at you
welcome.
boy. Hitting that big old thing, man. I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
I'm quite happy with that. I couldn't have done it without you, Angela. Thanks. I also want to do a shout out to Meyer for helping me set up this shit, which is really
Hey.
appreciated.
Well, lad.
Top lad.
Oh, nice.
there
Let's switch to
is-
something nice. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
And how about you, G1? Are you gonna switch into something nice?
Let me look through what
Yeah,
I've got.
switching to something nice for the viewers. Switch something nice, my friend. Switch something nice. Ooh, you better be one hell of a
What are you
looker.
gonna do?
Yeah, Tom.
I'm scrolling through. I got
the
over
Knuckles
200
thing.
models here to choose from.
The Knuckles thing really,
Nice.
really sucked. But it did
I
get.
can't even go to the
Yeah.
end of my
did
model
give
list. It doesn't load.
the it did give the game the exposure that it deserved. Do you have any questions for us? Now feel free to ask anything, really.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god, really?
Well now,
Really?
howdy.
Well now. Whoa there.
Whoa
Howdy,
there,
howdy.
whoa there. We're
Whoa.
getting into the
Whoa
Western
there.
team.
Whoa there. Hell yeah. Like,
Hell
I need
yeah.
more water to do. all
Your
those
name's
other
your name's
shit.
Top Tom. Should I call you Top Tom? Hold on. What is the
Top
actual
Tom. Hey,
here?
you made my
Okay,
mother. Top
my
Tom.
my friend, the person who
Oh,
rated
This is
us,
small.
she
can't
asked
even
the
see it.
question, "What is this game?" I haven't ever touched VR at all. What is the actual purpose of this game? It looks hilarious. Well, Angela,
Okay.
this game. Where did Stabby go? Oh, there you are.
Coming.
She's trying to. Draw, boy.
The purpose of this game
Reach for the
is to
sky.
give
Oh, shit.
people a place to be together in virtual reality. You can basically upload anything you want, any sort of avatar, any world. You can basically do anything. But you have to make it yourself. The entire game is community driven. The friends you see before me here, I met them all in this game. I had no idea of their prior existence before I played this
It's
game.
true.
Damn right.
And making friends has never been easier, because the people you don't like, you block, and the people you do like, you hook up with.
Oh my Lord of Christ.
Look at you.
You.
Oh, yeah, funky.
Still stuck in Maya.
Look at all that IK.
Look at all those fucking polys, my guy.
Oh dear.
What
Oh
is that?
dear.
It's a crash message.
What? Oh god.
I'm like,
I'm
dear,
sorry,
what's going on?
Inkling. No, the friend Top Tom is actually a good friend of mine. He goes by the name of Inkling online, but I'm not used to seeing him as Tom. And my friend Angela says, sounds like a gaming paradise. Well, it kinda is, as long as you know what you're doing.
It's a great social experience.
Yeah, it's a great social experience.
It is very much.
But I advise, and this is my personal advice, get yourself a group of friends as fast as possible, because you want to avoid public instances. Because of the low numbers of moderators, because of the lazy moderation, the inadequate moderation for the current size of the game, there are a lot of hackers about, and they don't really hack you, but they can ruin your fun like nobody's business.
It's a fucking tongue.
Yeah, there's a little
the
bit of
current
that.
big thing is hijacking people's perspectives and putting them in the middle of the map where nobody can see you. Out of nowhere.
That's been an issue for quite a while.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I
Yeah,
was
also
hasn't happened to me.
recommendation
Explain
would
this.
to get onto Discord. Because a lot of these things are communicated.
Angela
over that.
says, sounds like school. Get friends as soon as possible and avoid being publicly social.
Yeah. That's what I said. There's always drama in a VR chat where I am.
Oh.
And I deal with a lot of that shit. It's like fucking high school, man. It's just stupid. It's just dumb.
Inkling has a good
It's
one
always
here.
drama. It's bullshit.
He says, best thing about this game is jumping in and searching for a world from a game that you like and see if it exists. And that is so.
Yeah, that's
That is
Yeah.
Yeah.
true. I haven't seen a
Another
dead,
Mass
I haven't seen a
Effect.
Dead Space map yet. Mass Effect, yeah.
Indeed, Mass Effect. The only issue with that is Inkling, because of, I'm not gonna call it shallow, but because of the easy access of the Pug and other quite popular public instances, game worlds, like worlds aside from the common worlds that are always in the popular and busy tab, do not really get the exposure they deserve or activity at all. So while being there in virtual reality or in desktop, being in your favorite game can be quite fun, the chance that you'll meet people is very small. So you really need to go world hopping into public instances to find your friends.
I love world hopping.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm
it's
hopping
great.
all day.
I just stay away from the Pug,
I haven't world hopped in a while.
especially if the latest updates. The performance has just been.
It went down. It's garbage. It's just trash. I don't even go to the Pug anymore. Well, I do whenever my buddies invite me to, but it's just trash now.
Here's
Just
Thick Boy,
not worth
guys.
it.
Shout out to Thick Boy.
Hey, thick boy.
Hey, Thick Boy.
Hey, Thick, I miss you.
Lakusa says world hopping with friends is the best anyway. It can be really fun. And it's easier to communicate while in a group. Like, it's hard to infiltrate a group, but when you're with a group, it's much easier to get people to talk. Or like approaching people with a group and like, hey, how you doing? Join us. That's the best way to get to know new people, I think.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could just be kooky and crazy like I did my first time. I did voices for quite a while and people just go like, hey, you do voices. I like that.
Yeah, but not everyone can do voices
yeah.
or is socially instigating enough to do such a
Social
thing.
butterfly. Yeah.
Yeah, social butterfly.
Social
because
yeah.
this game also helped a lot of people with anxiety issues open up because there's a barrier of safety.
Yeah, there's a layer of anonymity to it.
And people really adore that. And I think that's great. Like getting people out of their anxiousness by presenting them with social environments where they're safe and anonymous. Yeah.
And they can look however they like to look, or
Yeah,
be
exactly.
whatever
They can
want
be
to be.
whoever they want to be. They don't have to be ashamed of their body because they can be their superhero.
Exactly.
Yeah, like me. Like I'm a big man. I'm 6'7", 6'8", and I'm pretty heavy. I'm 340 pounds. And I'm either a McCree, and I'm notice I'm a man from Texas. I'm either McCree or a fucking Nanachi. I enjoy being fucking short.
Here's
best thing.
Lakuza. Lakuza says, that is true. VR chat has helped me a lot. Never used microphones in other games before because I hated how I sounded. Yeah, I can't relate, but I can understand. Inkling also says, it's how I found you, GV. Well, Inkling and I'm gonna tell a little story. I recently, like 2 months ago, maybe less, I got into virtual reality role playing. I'm a big fan of Danganronpa. And people I've met have written trials for that game, like completely original trials a la Ace Attorney murder mystery kind of stuff, and I love to participate in that. It's so much fun. It's just a game of Clue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've also seen people doing improv comedy.
Yeah.
Like just in live in VR chat. So they just coordinated to actually get people that join in as a crowd and people that are just on stage, and they get their instructions and their situations, and then they get
Stuff
to
like
do
that's
some
awesome.
improv.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
I like I said earlier, VR chat is a great platform for new undiscovered talent because you have like a small community. VR chat is about 20,000 people. That's not very much, but it's easier to get discovered in a new environment. No matter what you do, I've seen people beatbox. I've seen people play guitar. I've seen people sing. Make models, show off their particle effects. You know, just,
I know.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I know several people who communicate only through musical instruments.
Yeah. Like people who use their guitar to communicate, like sad note, happy note. Yeah, I've seen that too, and I find that lovely because that just showcases what human creativity can do in an environment where you're completely free.
Exactly.
You can't. Okay, you can be yourself. That's the best thing. But if you want to be someone else, it's all power to you.
Yeah.
But the best thing is you're behind you're behind a mask. No one knows who you are. No one knows what you do.
I'll move on to the next topic because this is a nice gateway into it. VR relationships and friendships, and with relationships I'm talking like becoming friends. I met a guy. His name's Tinas. You guys probably know him. He's the guy with the bird avatars. I met him on VR chat in February. And a few months after that, we decided to meet up. And it was like we were already friends for 2 months because we were. The body language, the talk, the personality, it's just the same person, but they look different. And it's true. What I've noticed is people in VR chat, especially people who have VR, are themselves. They're real people in a virtual environment. And that's what I like about it. And if you're fake,
totally agree.
People will call you out. Because overall my experience with the community has been, they've been great. Most of them have been great. Like people who are here for what this game has to offer, they're great.
I'd say I agree with that. Yeah. Solid community.
Yeah, solid community indeed.
Solid.
And the thing is, because everyone is just wearing whatever they want to have as an avatar, they either express it like that or they basically show their interests. Or their
Everyone's
hobbies
comfortable. Like I work at a anime convention once a year, and that's what I usually compare VR chat to, because you have people wearing costumes in Ascension, and you can start a conversation based upon that, based upon the world where you're in, based upon the avatar someone is wearing, and building on something that you like and another person also likes also makes everything a lot easier, especially if it's like your first time.
It is like cosplaying. But there's some people who enjoy it, and then there's people who will criticize you. I'm sorry to bring a little negative into this positive, but there are a lot of people who will fucking criticize you about it. Like my broken McCree model, the one I love so much. Like, let me pull that out.
Oh, okay.
Oh god.
The ones with the broken ass visors, right?
Anyway, some comments from the Twitch chat. Inkling said, podcasting like this is a neat idea. I forgot to say it earlier, but it totally works. I agree. I really like this. Thickboy says, I've had a lot of issues with some real friends of mine, as if they didn't want to understand that making friends online is a thing you can do. I've been there. I think we've all been there, where our parents...
We lost someone.
Oh, that's
He
peculiar.
crashed. Hold on, let me check. Let me check.
I'll just talk to you about this one.
Gone.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good.
I think we've all been
He's
there,
gone.
Pengu, where our friend, like, we were all raised in the age of internet, like publicly accessible internet. And all our parents, I'm pretty sure they did, said, you can't make friends online. And people were skeptical and like, yeah, online friends aren't real friends. Have you guys been there? My parents were like that.
I've always been there. My mother was my grandmother was like that, but my mother was like, "Oh, you're talking to somebody from across the world." She's like, "Hell yeah, just don't start dating him." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, my parents were always
That's all she's.
afraid that I was being catfished.
Catfish.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Could be a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interesting
Oh my
thing is
God, that
like
could be a dude.
you can sit next to someone and they might be on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
But nobody,
exactly.
nobody can, like, be fake here, because you see right through them. That's what the nicest is about VR chat. You get to meet a person as the person who they are.
Yeah. And even though like when someone is like a trap, they can sometimes be more real than like their non-version.
Bye, Angela. Thanks for the raid.
Been there,
Thanks for
quote-unquote,
dropping by. Good luck with your own stream.
Thank you
but
so
yeah,
much
I
for stopping
agree.
by. Yeah. It's a hard concept to grasp for their generation, because their generation was just nothing but do-it-yourself, hand-working, like hands-on stuff. You know what I mean?
And like earning money
Like, if you wanted
by
to meet
doing
someone from across
things
the world, you have to-
online is out of this world for people like that. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Like, if I were their age, I wouldn't judge. I wouldn't be any different.
Yeah.
But there's...
And the same thing is like if you were to ask yourself a question like, or saying like, well, now you're sitting in VR on a virtual table talking to people on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you ask yourself that, like even 5 years ago, you'd say, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
But that's the thing, right? I sometimes look back, I'm sitting in VR, and then I'm like, it's only 2018. What the fuck? You know, what the... How?
Exactly, yeah.
Everything went so fast. A few years ago, we were excited that we had the Wii, and now we have this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I remember.
Or even the one where like they had
remember when
the
I-
Oculus DK one with
Yeah.
the tiny resolution, no spatial tracking, and a hell of a lot of latency for the motions.
Yeah.
And people went nuts for it, like just the fact that it was even close to VR.
Yeah. And now we have this, where we're like 4 or 5
Get
years.
like 90 hertz sub-millimeter precision tracking, which is crazy.
Crazy, and it works. If you have a good enough computer, it's near flawless.
Yeah. And the thing is, like at this stage, VR is currently the worst that it will be for a while. Like it will only improve from here.
Yes, of course.
These
But
headsets
I'm
are going to be like
already,
the cell phones
I'm-
from the 80s.
I'm already very content with what we have. It's a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
It's a very good one too.
Oh,
Like-
Lacusa said,
Shit.
still people see VR as another fad. I agree with that. I too thought like that, but once I
I did.
got into VR, I was sold.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing about
G1 wants you in the
VR
world, yeah.
that no other medium can do.
Oh yeah.
Is that,
I'll invite him. Yeah, G1.
If you have like for instance, you have a white void and there's like a cube floating in the middle. In no other medium you could say how big the cube is. Like not even if you have a great screen or a theater, like a whole cinema. Like
Yeah.
if you see a white cube in a white void,
Absolutely.
you can't say that's a large cube or a small cube
No.
until something is next to it. But in VR you can perceive scale and distance like nothing else.
Yeah.
Like
And
you can say this is a lamp that's like 25
Yeah.
centimeters big, or this is a table that's like 1 meter 20 wide. And that's
Your
something
left
no
sense
other
of depth
medium can
perception.
your
try.
left
too.
arm is oh yeah, there it
Vsauce.
is. Michael here. Oh, we have
Shut the
Vsauce
fucking
Michael
damn
here.
it.
You have the audio stinger.
Dude, fucking hell yeah.
You have the audio thing from it, like the tune.
I do on my
Like
other
the
Michael.
audio- the audio
I have
clips.
2 Michaels. This is a no animation Michael.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I've been keeping up the conversation. I've been listening to the stream. So
Okay. I've got some more
that's good.
comments here. Inkling says, I just hope VR chat can just have better optimization, but I know some of that is due to the world makers and avatar makers. Lacusa says, inverse kinematics are expensive. Right now VR chat will always lag with like 15 plus people. Yeah, I think it'll take a while to get past
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah,
NA,
computers will
NA,
gradually improve
yeah.
and take care of it.
In a game that
Well,
I was just gonna say, in a game that so heavily focuses around user-generated content, the developers obviously have well, that's the word I'm looking for. They should be optimizing the game as much as they can, and they are. It's
Yeah.
early access, you know. There's still a lot to be done. But as a community, it's also on us
Yeah.
to optimize as well.
Well, exactly, and that's the problem. While people like the devs are focusing on targeting particle systems, which is fine, they did it. It's optional now. It's local, fine by me. But instead, they should be putting hard limits on materials or meshes, for instance.
Yeah, but even then,
That's kind of hard to keep track on.
That's- Yeah, not only that, but that's also super like restricting creatively.
Yes.
And there's
yeah.
people finding all kinds of ways around it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really
no problem,
want
my guy.
like limits on material counts and stuff like that.
Well, no,
Personally.
that's fair. But what would you suggest for optimization then? Well, a thing that I would disable is shadows, like on mixed lights and real-time lights. That would save a lot of people
Yeah.
a lot
So
of
those are
frames.
mostly things for the level makers
Well, yeah.
to
Yeah.
handle. But the thing is, like, if someone makes a level that runs well, people will flock to it because whenever a level has like a terrible FPS, they go like, oh, I had a bad experience, I will not go back there.
Yeah.
So it sort of sorts itself out mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday there was the World Developer meetup. I know Lakuza was there for that.
Yeah. I usually
and Rock and I
attend
tagged along
that.
for a bit. But yeah, there were some great worlds that got shown off, and they ran really well, and they looked really good.
Issue is...
Yeah, even with a full world, like 20
thing
plus
is that's
people.
currently taking the most performance is stuff like IK. Even full body IK takes double the processing of the regular IK.
Yeah.
And then when you layer on stuff like dynamic bones and particles and certain shader effects, these things can go very fast, tanking performance.
Okay, I have a
I think
few
we got some
questions.
questions in chat,
Yeah. Lakuza
That's something for the
says,
subject
what are
person.
your thoughts on VR chat upgrading to the recent Unity? A lot of people are afraid for that to happen as the content will suffer, but it will improve performance a lot too. And then we have Inkling. Are you worried VR chat will get hit by copyright issues at some point for avatars and worlds? First, Lakuza, with the recent Unity. I myself have done some research on this, and while it will indeed give a great boost in performance, I too am afraid that most things will simply malfunction.
Yeah, and obviously when you're
They're
doing
probably
something
gonna take it
as
slow, like they're probably gonna test it out for
Lakuza, as far as I know,
and figure out how to transfer everything without losing stuff. Because I think that happened before, like when they moved up from the previous version to what they have now.
Yeah.
Like everything stopped working and people had to recreate everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're making such a drastic change, obviously in the short term there's going to be issues.
Yeah.
Like you can be as prepared as possible. Something will always go wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't stay in like the same old Unity version forever.
No,
progress
exactly.
has to
And the
happen.
thing is, the longer they're gonna
yeah.
wait, the harder it's gonna be to move up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause that's actually,
exactly.
they should have like initially like just moved up earlier, like closer to when the version came out.
Yeah.
Because now the game got so big that the amount of content that needs to move over to the other version is crazy.
Yeah.
Like
But,
you have to figure out how to get shaders, particles, materials, actors, that kind of stuff, all to translate to this new
Yeah,
version of
because
Unity.
that's the
That's the big
problem.
challenge.
Not everything we use for our avatars and our worlds is optimized for the newest version of Unity. Sure, a lot of things will work with the new Unity, but a lot of things also won't.
Yeah, I think that they just have to go and figure out the moment where it's close enough, and then just say like, okay, we're moving up because we just have to do that, and if it doesn't work,
Because
then well, get to work re-uploading and being creative.
because we have to. Like, there's no way around it, no two ways about it. We have to upgrade if this game wants to
It's
sustain.
like a band-aid. They just have to do it fast and do it and get it
Yeah.
over with, and then
Yeah.
like
I
deal
agree.
with the fallout, whatever that might be.
Yeah, GV, I'm a host you, my guy. Hold on.
All right,
The hero.
our hero. Anyway, here's thanks Pingu for hosting me. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah. At least my people will just look at you and they'll see your content. Yeah.
I'll to answer Lakuza's question, yes, we're afraid, but I don't think it's I think it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Then Inkling, are you worried VR chat will get hit by copyright issues? This is already an issue and they're working on it as far as I know. So let's not waste too much time on that. I know it's happening.
Yeah, because you're also like having the whole fair
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
border, like where does it start and end?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what
If someone
Okay.
just uses it for their own avatar
This is
or
all
like makes money off it,
personal.
like those are two different things, of course.
I always liken it to Gmod because
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gmod's full of copyrighted content, but I've never heard of anybody going after Gmod.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
my issue is if people would ask money for it. Like, I know there's VR chat world creators who ask money for their worlds. And I think that's a bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
Because
if you're using ripped assets.
Yeah, like the person I'm talking about is the man. I don't know his name. I just know he made like the Sword Art Online world, and he's asking money to continue development for that, and I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. I'm actually quite interested, like, Lakuza's in the chat, right?
Yeah,
like,
Lakuza's in the chat,
how is his stance on it?
Yeah.
That's a Final Fantasy world, right?
Yeah, I'll ask Lakuza. Lakuza, what's your stance on monetizing worlds based on copyrighted IPs? I'll let this question sink in and we'll move on to the next one. What are your top worlds to go back to in VR chat? Top worlds to go back to. I don't really have favorites. I just hit people up wherever they are.
They usually like to go to specific maps, usually related to their interest or their communities.
Yes. I don't really have favorites.
For instance, the people that are into Mass Effect, they go to the Mass Effect worlds, or
Indeed.
people that are
but
into
like
dancing that...
I'm into Danganronpa, but the Danganronpa map, I wouldn't consider it a favorite. I just go there because all my friends are there. Like I
have
think
3 favorites.
Like I think this map is amazing, but there's nobody around.
It's quite nice,
There's nobody here.
I'm gonna switch to my VR. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. I think my favorite map that I
can't stand not moving my hands.
that I just enjoy like going to and being with people in is probably the Mad Cat. Out of all the like bars and clubs and those types of worlds, Mad Cat is it's really open, it's really efficient, it's really fun.
I wouldn't call it my favorite, but I would definitely call it my favorite hangout. Like when I host a party, I usually go with the Mad Cat because it's not cluttered, you have a lot of space, and everyone can do whatever they want, and you have good music. Most of the time.
Yeah, same thing. Like, what I noticed, well, people that are interested in doing stuff like dancing, they go to like the EDVR level or like Galaxy or Void or Chiz. These are all different maps, and usually people like to alternate between them.
Yeah.
Because just being in the same world all the time is kind of boring. Yeah. So you see a lot of people that hop back and forth between these like specific worlds.
Yeah, the nightclubs. My favorite nightclub is Club Galaxy. What about yours?
Yeah, that one is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well optimized and it has an incredibly fun dance floor.
Yeah, it has a few nice playlists. It's quite efficient, and it's just
that's
no thrills.
The wacky drinks, right?
Yeah, and the rolling Earth that we were like, oh, did that Earth just move? Did that planet just roll? And it was desync for everyone.
Good. Galaxy's
good.
Yeah.
And it runs well. My issue with Void Club was its poor performance.
Yeah, Void Club is a rough time.
Yeah,
it's like they've been layering up a lot of stuff onto Void Club.
Yeah.
And there we go. They've been layering a lot of extra things, VFX, extra rooms, extra particles, extra cameras, and all these extra things. And slowly it becomes more and more bogged down.
It's
and then on top of that, like frame rate with all the full body characters is not helping.
Okay, here. Shaslik just joined us. Hey, Shaslik, welcome to the podcast. I'm good. I set this whole idea up today, and I just went with the flow and did what I wanted, and it's pretty cool. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Anyways,
good conversation.
I got a response from Lakuza. Let's read into it. Lakuza says, yeah, I've said I'm not making any money on it. People have asked to donate me, and I've rejected it on my Discord. For me, VR chat world building is a hobby, so I'm not really interested in getting money for it. I'm just making things that I'd like to explore. However, when I do move on to completely original worlds, I can reconsider. Yeah, but like if you're making completely original worlds with your own content, your own models, it's your own damn right to ask money for that. But if you're ripping game assets or creating something based on an existing IP, I don't think you should ask money. Like
I don't think you
donations
should
are
charge
fine.
money, yeah.
Like donations are fine if you want to help someone out and like appreciate their work. Fine, they put a lot of effort in that. If you think that's worth money, give it to them. But Patreon and stuff for these kind of things is a bit iffy, even on my side. Like I made a Patreon
Especially
for
if you're
this
gonna do like paywall
podcast
kind of stuff.
because
Mhm.
I want to make money off of this if possible, because I put effort into this. I organized this. I want to share it with my friends. But I'm not using copyrighted content to make my content.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
oh, what's this?
Solid response, Lakuza. Thanks for the insight, buddy.
Yeah, great.
really good.
Oh, here's Yogoshimo, our voxel
Yogo.
boy. He says about VR chat worlds, what makes one popular or recognizable? I think interesting gimmicks are the way to go. Lakuza's boss fight, bowling, a nightclub with music and flashy lights. Interesting
Yeah.
gimmicks are the way to go.
They should
Or-
have a focus, like what they
Yeah.
want to do, and be good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a goal, and they should. If you really want to get people's attention, they should be different.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to stand out. And I think your worlds, personally, they stand out. They're well optimized. They're stylistically pleasing. I think we can both
Yeah.
agree on that. But there's not really a drive for people to go there to check it out. Doesn't make them any less great. But you don't have a gimmick. There's no cars, there's no planes, there's no dance floor, there's no music, there's no drinks.
I mean, every time a new interesting world gets uploaded, it'll be popular for, I don't know, like 2-3 days,
Yeah.
and then it just goes into obscurity, and everybody goes back to the pug.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how it's always worked, and that's an issue.
Yeah,
That's
is
an
issue.
issue that
Well,
needs to
the
try and be
thing
dealt
is,
with.
it might
say-
actually change a little bit recently, since they have the favorite system now.
Yeah.
So people can actually bookmark what they like and return to it.
But
That's what I've been doing.
you just mentioned the biggest problem. People will always go back to the pug. There's no
they
have to
like
kill the bug.
familiarity.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like ever since the pug kicked its own nuts in by tanking its performance stats with some wacky Unity tricks, people have been moving to Japan Shrine, which I personally really like. Oh, hold on.
He's on the table again. He's on the table
I
again.
personally
Japan
really
Shrine is really,
really
a nice
enjoys
map,
Japan Shrine because Japan Shrine looks great and it runs great.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, technically it doesn't have a thing that you can do. It's just very nice to inhabit.
Yeah, that's my
It's
Yeah.
a
like
pure meeting space.
that's my issue. It doesn't have a thing.
I think one of the reasons that so many people are there is because there's a sizable Japanese community.
Yeah, and Koreans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've noticed
Shout out
that as
to
well. There's a lot
the
of people
Japanese
from
and the
Korea and
Koreans.
Japan. in
Shout
those,
out to the
maps.
Japanese and the
They-
Koreans.
They go to a lot of the maps that they'd be more familiar with, like Shibuya
And they're-
or Japan Shrine is
They're
heavily
very
heavily
Very kind
lots of
people.
Japanese people there.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, they're good guys, good guys.
Yeah.
The thing is,
And I
like,
understand why they
it might be
separate
that
themselves.
it's like the shrine map sort of gives them like a link to what they know.
Yeah.
and love.
It's familiarity.
It's
Yeah.
familiar, yeah, like you said.
Okay, let's see. Here, oh, yeah, Inkling agrees, that Japan Shrine is nice, but there's nothing to interact with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And here's Yogo says gimmicks as in interactable objects such as the metro in Vox Transit. Not necessarily like a metro, but more like darts or card games. You know, things you can do.
Yeah. Like the Metro's cool. Like
Yeah,
I
the
helped them
metro
test out his
is
Metro
really
World.
cool.
Metro's cool.
It's cool, but
But
it's not.
you're not gonna get a
Because I
gang
don't
of
know. It's
Yoga makes a bunch of like voxel based maps.
Yeah.
And he's got a map he made recently that's got like a train, like train stations. You get in, and then it'll like take you on this like voxel train to like the next
Yeah.
town, and it's just like a metro that goes between like 3
And
different towns.
it's
I think it
nice,
is.
and it's more art for me than a world that
Yeah.
I'd really like to hang out in.
It's the thing is that you're not gonna get like a group of like 10 buddies together to go on the metro. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
cool, but
Here,
but I don't think anyone will do that.
no. He says the newest update there is cubes and a diner. Does that apply? And an observatory. Well, you're getting there. A fully interactable diner would be great. Like having actual dishes and drinks and tables and a bar. That's something we don't have. I would
well,
love
there's
that.
something like that. The Matcha Cafe one.
Yeah,
That's
but
Matcha Cafe.
yeah,
I like that map. I wish more
Matcha
people ran
Cafe
it.
is nice, but it's not quite what I would look for in a hangout spot. But first, because it's too big. For my tastes, it's too spacious.
Oh, look who it is coming
I
through the
think it
door.
was back.
There he is.
There he
go.
is. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
How's it going? Yeah. Okay, give me a sec. Okay. All right. So I caught up on everything, and basically they get about the whole pug, and y'all are past that. So.
Okay,
Far
here's
behind.
Inkling. Inkling says, GV knows how much I artistically love the world CN Village Yai. CN Village Yai is a artistic rural Japan town with a mansion and like dormitories. It's great. And yes, I do really enjoy that map too. And art can be appreciated differently because I appreciate that world, but I wouldn't go there to hang out with my friends. That's the
It's
kind
difference
of
between
difference.
looking at a work of art or hanging out with a bunch of friends in a
Yeah,
familiar place.
like I wouldn't go to a museum to have fun with friends, but that doesn't mean I don't like art.
True.
So there's that.
I'm getting back. I haven't been in VR all that much, and going back from desktop VR, it's kind of still freaking me out. Yeah,
Oh, welcome.
I'm just like,
Yeah, welcome
oh
back.
shit. And welcome back to VR, a wonderful world of moving your hands.
Okay, here's Yogo
Uh.
again. Almost completed it. Yet so far there is a lag being caused by adding more stuff. So now I'm adding culling, and I'm not sure if that is a good thing to do, or should I reverse my project to a lesser performance demanding. Well, G1, let's discuss this. I think
Sure.
Yogo's transit world is nice. But I myself would rather have separate world instances, because the bigger you make a world, the more lag you're gonna cause. And if you just have the castle, or if you just have the city in the voxel style, you'd not only be adding to the performance, even though backface culling can fix that issue, it's a lot of work. Baking lights will also take ages. I really like your
And a nice
transit
thing is,
system, but I'd advise keeping the stations, separating the instances, and making portals to the other destinations rather than having them in the same world.
Yes, the thing is as well, like also because a level can maybe take 30 players, maybe 40. Like if you get a world that's super large, people are never gonna find them each other when they join into a level.
That is
They just,
definitely a problem in
They
big
think
worlds.
that they're the only one in the world, but meantime performance is super low because there's actually 20 people like a kilometer away, but they can't see it.
Okay,
like the map Guy and Night, before it was small, it's easy to find people, but now it's so freaking huge, it's hard to find people, and it's just garbage.
That's why Guyana used to be super popular.
And Guyana just died.
I haven't seen Guyana hit 100 in a long time, and I agree. I think personally that it's because it's too big.
Yeah,
and
it's too big because it's hard to find people.
The thing is, like, because it's so big, there's no focus. Like, there could be two people in one of the cottages and the other ones on the top
there's
of a mountain.
And there's no way of finding these people. That's the biggest issue. Well, no, it's a mess. The new Gaia Knights is a mess. Anyway, I got some more questions.
Okay.
Here's Lakuza. And yes, Yogoshimo, make a portal to another section. Indeed, that's what we agree upon. Here is Lakuza. What are your opinions on game-ripped worlds versus Unity worlds versus completely original worlds when it comes to appreciation? I myself, I'm going to be the first one to open this discussion. Ripped worlds blow me away if they're done well, because I just love stepping into something familiar.
Yeah, it's something you've been playing or you've been running through before, and then suddenly you see this in the actual skill, and you can actually walk through the environment.
Yeah, it's an unforgettable experience to actually be somewhere of your favorite franchise.
Like walking through like the Normandy, or
walking through the Normandy, riding a chocobo. It's lovely. I love it as long as it's done well. Yeah.
Like a friend of mine also made like the apartment from Mass Effect 3 at like the Citadel stuff. And just walking through that and seeing the actual skill and being able to sit on the sofa there, that's quite an interesting experience. So there's actually also a variant to this. It's like where, because that's something I'm working on myself, is where people get the assets out of the game, but then rearrange them into a different configuration to make a whole new.
And that's also praiseworthy. Yeah, seeing how you and Sentinel tackled that project blew me away, even if it's just in the early stages. Okay, next one. Asset store worlds. Not really my thing. Usually comes across as very generic because they're generic assets. When you're making a world, I think the most important thing is sticking to a theme. A theme.
Did someone make a Unit Z world yet?
I don't know what that is.
It's the asset flip pack that everyone on Steam has been using to make their Daisy clone of. It's basically like a running gag or uploader, like asset flips.
Tinas wants to join us. Are we gonna invite Tinas?
Sure.
It's up to you, Box Man.
I'll give him a
So how long is this planned, by the way?
I have no specific end time. As long as it's interesting and fun, I'll...
Yeah, we've been going 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's been over 2 hours, my guy. Yeah.
We don't want to get too many people because people will just talk over each other.
Yeah, exactly. But I think one more won't do us any harm.
Sure.
Okay, completely original worlds. Like I said, artistic value. If people make their own shit, like Yogashimo, he makes voxel worlds. It's lovely.
Or Elhanan makes a lot of cool worlds as well, like the Fish Person Cove.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
thing is
yeah.
amazing.
That's lovely. But yeah,
Like every model is handmade and hand sculpted or modeled. And
my
unwrapped
favorite-
and
The
imported.
lights in those worlds are so good.
my favorite artistic kind of world is the photoscoped museum.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I haven't seen
That's
that
a
one.
very good one. Yeah.
It's a Swedish
Oh, it's-
museum.
Oh wait, is that like the Baroque castle thing where there's like a,
Yeah, the photos.
the
it's
photogrammetry
entirely
one.
photograph.
It's photogrammetry.
Yeah.
That one is amazing, where they just photogrammetry the whole building and put it in VR
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the answer. But yeah, ripped worlds will also always be the nicest because it's familiar. It's something you love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, indeed.
Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
What's our next? Any more questions? Or are we done with that question?
Let's see. We're done with that question.
I really can't say much because I've never made a world or any models, so this is just out of my league. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually quite a fun experience. Like first you have something either in Maya or Blender or like, and this also goes for
Yeah.
avatars. Like you first have this in an editor. Oh, hey,
there
there's
he is.
Wild
There he
Tiny
is.
approaching.
Hello. You're a bit low, my dude.
But yeah, the
Yes.
thing is like you normally
Somebody's
have
gonna
this
check.
stuff.
Where?
Yeah. In an editor,
Yeah.
you look
Come-
at it like
come
in
stand.
viewports and in different modes, and like you press the upload button, and suddenly like it's all around you, or you do this, and it's like, hey, I had this in Maya 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's
like
cool.
having a new avatar is an amazing experience. Something you work on, and then just you take it out for a spin, and it works. Well, not always,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't work, it's
Yeah.
funny. Most of
Yeah,
the
exactly.
time.
it's-
you
it's
go
like-
like you go
it's
like,
like
oh,
this.
this looks nice, this looks nice, everything working, and then it's
Yeah.
like, there's one little vertex that's came to the wrong bone, and you have to go back. Or you forgot
It's
to
like
set
this
your
model
model
right
as
here.
a humanoid, so you end
Oh,
up like
Pengu.
walking as a T-pose.
Look at my fist.
What is that?
Okay.
It's a cupcake.
Here's Yogo. Yogo says, should I do the procedure and go like this, make 3 uploads to each section, and then focus onto one section at a time? And yes, I think your world would benefit from having 3 different instances rather than one huge world.
Yeah.
You're in my face.
The thing is as well, like if people want to see, for instance, a castle or another bit, they all flock together and they stay together.
Yeah.
And then when they're ready
Yeah.
to move on, they all move through the same portal and they go to the next place.
Yeah, it could be
And
cool to
that
treat
way,
the
like if
metro
you
world as a
see
sort of hub.
one of
Yeah.
the 3 areas is most popular, you can actually focus on that as well.
Yes, indeed, and by closing that divide in communication, by making the world too big, there is a larger chance that people will use it as a hangout spot.
Yeah, exactly, because things feel more enclosed, more social.
Yeah,
Because else people are like
More-
seeing only the people as dots in the distance, and they go like, "Oh, that's too far to walk. I'm gonna go to the next level."
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, related to that, movement speed in worlds. Would you rather move
Oh,
at a slow pace, a more realistic pace, or would you like the ability to go fast? I say it depends on the
Like-
world, but there are also people who have like those 40 people worlds where you walk like a snail and it takes you
Oh.
ages to get anywhere.
Can't stand that.
Yeah, though what is a nice sort of solution to this is just allowing people to teleport to the most significant places in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Then,
But
then
then
they
you
can
break,
go like, oh, meet
then
me
you
at this
break
corner,
the
and then
natural flow, which there's something to say for that, if you ask me. I like being able to go somewhere.
Like a nice example is like the beach house map, right? Like you spawn on the end of a pier,
Yeah.
and normally you have like this long walk to the house, and it takes like at least 30 seconds more or less.
Yeah, that.
Or you can click on the lantern and you are instantly at the house. And especially when you're joining back in, or you went to respawn, or you crashed and you want to
They
get back
added
into
that
like
then
a conversation.
because back when I was in that house, you just had the super slow movement speed.
Well,
Yep,
the thing
I
is,
haven't been there in a long time.
they added it. It's not super obvious though, so you actually have to go to a lantern and click on it. It's not something that stands out, but if you know of it, you can just go there and click on it.
Okay, this is a good point. Lakusa and Shaslik say, no jumping annoys me more. I agree.
Oh,
I don't
Exactly.
like maps
Can't agree more.
where you can't
Let me
jump.
run fast and jump
Especially
high.
like if geometry
I
is
hate
kind of
that.
broken, like colliders. Normally with some jumping you can sort of unstuck yourself and fix it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have jumping, you're completely up to the mercy of the guy making the colliders in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. Jumping, I don't get why jumping isn't automatically included when you upload a world to VR chat. I don't get that because you have to. It's actually quite difficult to get jumping to work properly. Well, difficult is a big word, but it takes some effort. It's not like
Yeah,
you check a box.
Mods.
Yeah. You
Exactly, yeah.
can't natively jump in VR chat, which I think it's odd.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
unless you have full body.
Hey,
but
then you can
then-
just
yeah.
climb into the sky. Leave that play space. There she goes, there she goes.
There she goes.
Hackers.
Crazy hacker
hacker, man.
people.
Fucking this is Crazy Russian Hacker. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're going to teach you how to crack a cold one.
yeah.
We're using a hatchet.
Lakusa says another annoying thing is
Nice.
portals being disabled. Yeah, I've seen that.
I
That's
fucking-
like
I
a trap
fucking hate those.
thing,
I
like-
don't
I
get
hate
that.
those worlds.
Yeah. There,
Yeah, what do you
there,
Then you
What
can
are you
have
doing
people
with
join
disabled
in and then
worlds?
they can
Yeah.
leave.
It's a stupid thing, right? If you, because I've been into some instances with my buddies. I have personal experience with this shit. It's just fucking stupid. Like if you have a group of like 10 or more people, and some of those people you don't have added as a friend, and you want to move on, you want to continue hanging out with them, it's like you forget to like friend them. It's just bullshit because they can't go along with you.
yeah.
And you'd be lucky if they're friends with other people. Or you could just be some rando, like, chilling out with you. And it's, like, fucking amazing.
Shaslik
Yeah.
asks who the guests are because I have name tags turned off. G1 fan, MissStabby, PenguVA, and your boy Tinos.
Howdy.
They're
Hello.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
howdy. So those are the guests. Lakusa says
Alright.
they're
Okay.
all GV. Real talk though, I really enjoyed this, and I will definitely plan this more.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta figure out what topics, my guy. Topics.
Dude, as
Yeah,
long
we
Yeah.
can't run out of topics.
as long as we have a society, topics will come flowing in.
Not society.
This is true. This is true. Oh, where's that pistol? Though? Yeah, okay, finally. I can fucking grab this, and I can fucking tracking.
You can do it. Beak in my face, beak in my face.
Please, motherfucker. What's good?
Nom nom
Yo,
nom
what's
nom
good?
nom.
Oh,
Oh, it's been yoinked.
Yeet.
I can't.
When you
No,
run out of
you can't
ideas,
do
you
it.
can also do a Yu-Gi-Oh duel in that
Nah.
one world.
Oh yeah, right.
The Force.
So yeah, topics. We can talk about anything and make it interesting. So, like anything. If you have good guests, if you have a good host, you can make anything interesting.
This is true, and I'm trying to figure out, is this gold-studded?
Especially,
You need a magnifying glass.
when you're talking to a friend,
It's weird.
you're usually talking about yourself and your own experiences. But in a podcast, you discuss things. Even if everyone agrees, you still have a good conversation, and it can be mutually agreed upon, but you can get different perspectives. And that's why it's easier to talk during a podcast than like going over to someone's house. And because I can just say, okay, we're gonna discuss car races and professional sports, and we could, and we can just go and do it. But I can't go into someone's house and I say, hey, it's nice to see you again. Let's talk about car race.
Yeah, you just can't fucking do that. It's just some fucking random, just, like, it's like going up to a Republican and talking politics and you don't know fucking shit about it. It's basically like they're like shit hitting the. What are you doing with my guns? Stop touching my guns.
Tina's nicking your guns.
Anyway, it's like doing that. It's like you're talking shit about politics when you don't fucking know shit. I hate to bring politics to this shit, but I'm sorry. It's like
Yeah,
that.
it's okay.
I think politics are really interesting, but not but not on a country scale, but on a world scale. I find that far more interesting because like Trump and Hillary Clinton, they're such a hot topic, but I know near to squat about America, so I can't really go into discussion about that. But on how it affects the world on a global scale, like, what do I feel of Trump? Honestly, nothing. Trump has no consequences overseas. Nobody gives a shit. Even the media started ignoring him after the initial blast.
Yeah, fucking. So many people got so fucking butthurt after the Moab.
Yeah.
Because during the Moab, when he dropped that big ass Moab, where I was, we went through a water boil because we had like such huge fucking E. coli in our fucking water. We had to boil the water. I showered with bottles, and like it's nothing to me. And I saw a photo, and it says they found the Moab, and the chemicals they used inside it was Corpus Christi water, and I was just like, hell yeah, that's fucking.
I thought stacking the pillows in the tug was impressive.
Okay. But yeah, let's talk about the news for a bit. Just the news, and I'm not talking about like what's the news in your country, but about how the news influences us as a society, and how it makes us forget important things. I'm gonna refer to Childish Gambino for this one. Everyone knows the song "This Is America" by now, I'm pretty sure. It is only shockingly apparent what Childish Gambino is trying to communicate through to the people when a few days after the song's release, there was another school shooting in America, and it got this much attention, and they just moved on. Then we got Whoopity Scoop.
Yeah. Whoopity Scoop, Scoopity Whoop. Whoopity Scoop.
And that gained more. Okay, just to put it into perspective, Whoopity Scoop got more airtime than the 20th school shooting in America this year. Just to put it into perspective.
It's just like, I know it's a big thing, right? I know, me being in America, school shootings. I'm just glad I graduated before all this shit could happen, man.
Yeah, it really got out of hand, didn't it?
Yeah. At my age, at the age of 17, I had my license to own a gun through my father.
Yeah.
And then when I hit 18, I got my license to open carry.
Yeah.
And I have my own revolver. It's a fucking big son of a bitch. It's a 357. I always open carry it. I'm a big man. People don't fuck with me just by myself. Me being like huge, nearly 6'7", 6'8", Mexican, just walking around. Because I did. Y'all know what I did with from my. Well, you know what I did from my previous job. I was armed security and shit.
Yeah.
And fucking, I got fired because you can't just load your weapon and scare a dude that's potentially robbing us. HR, man, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
I was doing my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say something, but I lost it. I'm sorry. It was good though.
That's fine. Yeah. But
So yeah, we don't
Go on
have
for over
guns
2
here.
hours.
Like we do have
I
guns
understand.
here. But it's a real
We've got
hassle to
shooting
get your...
organizations.
Yeah, we have shooting, like people who appreciate guns in the sense of sport shooters. That's what we have. But if you want to, we don't have license for open carry except for like military police.
yeah, but the thing is, right? The thing in America, right? If the military
hunting
can have
game,
it,
by
and
the
if the and hunting game, that's what you guys have. If
Yeah.
the police and if the military can have it, we should have it too, because we have a fear that this might
Yeah.
one day happen, that the government might take over.
I heard that, and I think it's
They've already
that's
taken
the
over.
like while
Yeah, they have.
while it's true, I think it's insane. Like it's insane
Yeah.
that the public has to arm themselves in fear of the military. In what
Yeah.
other country than the United States?
Russia.
Da-da-da.
After fucking Russia.
Yeah, Russia, but Russia is a weird one.
They share their guns.
Yeah.
Sure, there goes my guy. Fucking-
Our guns.
you see this? You see this AK-47? This was used in 1947. You know, see this right here.
Okay, I'm
That's been used today in 2018. Right? Take good care.
for the viewers. If you have any question, feel free to dump it in the chat.
Yeah.
We're here all night.
Anything about
I'm not here all night.
Well, G1
anything
is
about America? Anything
Yeah.
about America?
Yeah.
I'll try my
Realized how
best to
big my
answer.
beak is.
yeah, it's huge, man.
That's why I moved
Fucking
close.
massive.
Okay,
Massive.
so yeah, America is
Massive
a
damage.
very sensitive topic. The
Oh
only
no, I don't care for shit. Just
No, but
lay it on me.
listen, the thing that bothers me most about America is the ridiculous patriotism. Like, in what country are you afraid of the government that they might shoot you up and still love it? I don't get it. I
Well,
always
a lot
had,
of people misuse patriotism.
I
Yeah.
always had in my mind that America would function better as a society as a whole if every state was its own country rather than one big country.
Texas was its own country for the longest time, and then we were called the Republic of Texas for the longest time, and it worked out great. We had apparently it didn't. We were part of Mexico, and then there's the border, and apparently most Texans are racist as fuck to Mexicans because it's their land, apparently. And fucking, I wasn't here in the beginning. My family wasn't here in the beginning. Oh, fuck yeah, they were. Just it's bullshit. Because we're part of Mexico at a point, and they just don't understand that the term Tejano means Texan in Spanish.
There's
go.
also another thing that currently bothers me with politics is reverse racism. For instance,
Don't get me started.
you can't be
Don't get me started.
racist against white people. For instance, I was born white. I like girls. I'm being victimized. Like, oh, you're a white man who likes girls. That's disgusting.
dude.
I hate that, and
Dude.
I don't get it.
Dude, fucking, hey, okay. Is your stream set to like 18 plus? Because I'm about to hit you real hard with something.
Dude, I am 18 plus, but just
Okay,
No, but
so-
the
as
stream
long as
settings.
you
Yeah,
don't
stream
show
setting.
dicks, it's fine.
Okay, so do you kiss girls?
Yeah. No, well, I
makes
only
you
have
That's
faggot.
like a playground conversation.
No, that makes you a faggot. Because you kiss girls and girls kiss dudes, so you're basically kissing the dude that she kissed before you.
Whoa.
Yeah, but if you kiss a dude, that's still gay. Because that dude kisses a girl, but that girl kissed the dude before he kissed him. That's just being gay with extra steps, my guy.
Pengu, I think it's
I know
time
what
you
we need.
leave.
What? Oh, come on, you can't be doing that shit to me, my guy.
I'm
Can
kidding.
we play some Vsauce music
kidding.
with this?
But yeah, let's
Vsauce.
think of another topic. You guys have any topic
Yeah,
suggestions?
what was on the list? Did you go
Yeah,
through
we
everything on the
ran
list?
through everything on the list. Yeah.
I've been doing this for over 2 hours. I mean, that's...
Yeah, just
Well, we
Pretty
didn't
good.
finish the
Did-
list before 2 hours, though. Oh yeah. I have one more point we haven't really touched on, and that's experiences. Experiences
Sure.
within
Sure.
VR chat.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
that can be
Sit your ass down, Google. Thank you. Anyway.
Experiences in VR chat. My
So-
favorite experience is meeting new people and becoming friends with people in VR chat. What about
Well-
you, MissStabby?
meeting new people and especially seeing what kind of cool things they create is really special.
Yeah, appreciating
Like,
creativity has never
Yeah,
been
like
easier.
a few weeks ago, a friend mine showed like something cool, like where like some weird particle effect was going off on music, and at times it's basically like digital fireworks and
Oh.
very well orchestrated and like with special shaders that actually modify the post-processing. Really cool stuff. And just seeing those kind of things happen, that's really
That sounds
really
awesome.
special.
Sounds
Yeah.
lovely.
I just like making, I make lots of meme models. And I love it when people love the memes.
Yeah, making people laugh is so rewarding in this game.
Yeah.
I think Tina
That's why I
has some
do it.
experience with it too.
Yes. I think the favorite thing
Surprising.
in this game is meeting other stormtroopers. That's the best thing. Because everyone who uses stormtrooper avatars
There's a lot
has
of
an
you guys.
open mind, because you gotta add too much stuff to this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've noticed that too. Like our friend Lido. Lido also has a
Lido.
wacky
Jawbones has
stormtrooper.
turned to the dark
Yeah,
side as well.
Jawbones has a wacky stormtrooper. And yeah, there's just some avatars that open up a lot of routes to creativity, and the stormtrooper is one of them.
Yeah, I've
There's
seen
also the
fun
public
things
one
being
with the
remixed.
the Mountain Dew,
Yeah,
which also gives a lot of
Yeah.
attention to the stormtroopers.
And the thing is, like,
I was raiding a
Sometimes
party one time. I was
people
doing a
remake
raid
their
with a
avatar
couple of them,
in
like
such
20 of
weird
them,
ways
and I was a
that's, like,
commander. It's all on YouTube.
that you never
And
think you'd
it
run
was
into
right.
it.
But
It's like
this
super
model seems to
weird,
grab a lot of
super
people's
funny.
attention, and every time I go like,
I know someone who has like a
What?
someone is talking, dude.
because I know, for instance, someone who has like a model of Geralt of Rivia, but then puts on like cheerleader outfits. Just the combination of the two is just so crazy. It's so funny.
Yeah,
Dude, that sounds great.
that sounds
Yeah,
lovely. That's
exactly.
the kind of stuff I like being creative. Like this model, the model I am at the moment. This is the normal version. It's quite basic, but just for the stream, I'll show off what my special version can do.
Oh,
In
no.
case there's new people here.
oh no,
Dun, doo-doo-doo,
oh no.
Okay, here's the special version.
Loading. And
What the fuck? The fuck was that?
finished. Yeah.
Okay,
The fuck did that?
I have a
It was a
feather
smoke grenade.
duster
Yes.
with dynamic bones. But my favorite part about this model that I made together with Rock is the food function. The food function is amazing. I just love it.
No.
Oink.
Stop.
Food.
Oink.
No.
well.
Oink.
Fucking stop. No, fuck you.
And then boing.
I
And
can't
it's
even
gone.
enjoy these.
Those are funny things.
Try to eat
I can't even enjoy them.
Yeah, and
I can't
people,
enjoy them.
because
I tried so hard.
like making
Got some
making
You're alright,
avatars,
Whoa.
making avatars
No.
has such a high entrance barrier that even things that look simple like that
I'm actually quite scared about what you're gonna do.
are really
Oh,
appreciated.
this is not a meme gun. It like works as intended.
Yeah.
That actually
indeed,
fucking hurts. Thank you very much.
I'll show you some.
Even I heard that through your.
I don't know if it
fucking
syncs
speakers.
correctly, because sometimes it
Fucking,
doesn't.
yeah,
sync.
my fucking headphones, my dude.
Hey
Fucking my
guys,
headphones.
could we
machine gun, dude, what
focus
you
on the
expect?
show?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay.
Like
Yes.
this
Good
avatar
boy. Yeah, I'm sorry.
can
Ooh.
basically change the shader,
Yeah.
and then slowly.
What are you remembering?
That's really cool.
What?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are like little gimmicks that you can put on
Fuck.
an avatar.
Yeah.
Remember when
Am I supposed to be saying something?
Yeah. She
Oh yeah.
she has
I don't see anything.
a Miku with a
I see what
shifting
you're doing.
shader.
No, I don't see what the fuck. What am I supposed to be seeing here?
That's cool.
She disappears. Is she not loading in for you?
I don't. No, it's like she blocked me or something.
Am I not seeing someone? Because
Do you hear her?
Like she's not there. She's
did he accidentally block it, or did I?
blocked apparently.
Oh,
There we
Now
go.
I can hear her. Holy shit.
she's been here the entire.
Yeah, okay, she was blocked for like the longest.
She's been
Yeah,
here
she was
from the
blocked. She was
start.
blocked the
I
entire
know.
time. I don't know what the fuck
There's
happened.
no way she was blocked the whole
I
time.
know. I
dude.
remember she was.
Your chat
No,
does
from,
weird
no,
stuff.
I know she was right here, and then she went over there, and this is she was that orange model that says DDR5,
Yeah.
and then this is new for me. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Like, she was
I'll
blocked for
show
me
you the
during
effect
that
again.
train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
check this out.
Back here.
Okay. Ooh. Shit, is she blocked again? Holy fuck. Oh, never mind. I was kidding.
Yeah, that's
very
lovely.
nice.
So that
If you're talking to me, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Like,
I
so
didn't see you either.
fuck.
that's just a little sneak peek
Oh, fuck,
of
okay.
what people can do with simple Unity tools and a few assets. Of course, it requires practice, it requires study, because it's not the easiest hobby around. But you could blow people's minds in no time, as long as you know what you're doing, and there's a lot of really cool tutorials out there. So if you're interested in making avatars, don't let it stop you. Once you're done, the amount of satisfaction is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Here, this is,
Whoa.
for instance,
You get that feeling of. You
Yeah.
get that feeling of accomplishment, and I will never feel that because I never make my models.
Okay,
So
this is Stabby's own model. She made this herself entirely.
yeah, it was initially made with a project for an animation,
Yeah,
and later I sort of optimized it for putting it in VR.
yeah.
And this is
So-
actually under 20,000 polygons.
Oh, really? I love the
Yeah.
little
So intricate as
animations in your core and over your chest.
And then I got the eye shader that allows you to change.
the eyes. Yeah.
That's cool.
Eyes look great. Yeah.
Like
Eyes do
a
look
strong life of a teenage robot vibes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually thinking of making XJ9.
Yeah, Jenny,
so
that would be
cool.
great, and it'd fit you really well.
Somebody,
It's been on my list too.
somebody uploaded an XJ9 model, right? But it was the what is that for? Fucking, it's that fucking. It was one of the porno ones though.
Yeah,
So it was easily recognizable, and it was just fucking disgusting. That was disgusting.
But he
Yeah,
that's
recognized
everything
it.
inside. It was just
What is this
disgusting.
thing? Why am I surprised?
What do you think?
No, you can tell. Like it had details everywhere, and fucking it was just no. I'm getting stabbed in the stomach right now. Holy shit!
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's very fun to have all these different
Yeah.
avatars.
So that's
Mhm.
that's a small window into VR chat and avatar development in particular. I say everyone here except for Pengu is a rather experienced avatar developer. I myself am quite the newbie, but I learned the tips and tricks from the people who have way more experience than myself. I'm more a community manager type person because I'm not that talented myself, but I try to get along. But Dinas makes his own models. G1 rips things from the Switch and makes astounding memes. Good memes.
That's me, Mr. Meme.
and
I looked at
Stabby.
Soldier 76 one. That one was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that
Fucking
one.
76.
Oh, that one's good.
Fucking love that one, my guy. Yeah,
Oh, thank you
I
very
know
much,
how to
thank you
talk
very
to you. Yeah.
There we go. And I'm shiny.
Okay, so Yogo said, should I place the portals in the metro or on the station exteriors and only activate them when the train comes? No, just make the train stationary and put portals in the train, like against the back wall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, memes. Memes evolve fast. And people make a lot of memes here, and they're pretty good, as long as you know what you're doing.
Some decent memes, decent memes.
Decent memes?
Decent memes. Decent memes.
Whoopity scoop?
Whoopity scoop. Swoopity whoop. Swoopity.
Tina's here, Borderlands Goliath.
Yeah. He's gonna get angry.
You touch my stuff. Just fucking.
Hey guys, something nice to know. Ever since we started, since we got 10 minutes in, we've been over 5 average viewers. We're currently on 8 still.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did it, Mom.
For the first stream ever,
Good job, guys.
I think
Yeah.
that's good.
That is good, man. I started out with like 2 viewers, and those were my buddies, and then I fucking grew, and then I shrank again, and I just exploded.
Dude, Red
that's
is
good.
fucking great though.
Who?
Red.
Yeah, dude, Red's a great guy.
Yeah, Red.
No, other Red. Nani
Which Red?
desu ka?
No, yeah, she's very nice. She's very nice. I
I
love
think that
everything
is.
about her. Yeah.
She's a girl.
Me neither.
No,
She's a girl.
she's a girl.
Girl.
No,
She's a
Nani.
girl. She's a girl, my guy. She's a gamer girl, man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, my
Like
guy.
Diva.
The gamer
Okay.
girl. Like Diva. No. Diva's a dude. We all fucking know it.
The
It's
thing
spoilers.
that bothers me about the devs the most is their inaccurate representation of the community and the game itself for marketability reasons. The way
That's
they
a tough
present,
thing to do.
yeah, the way they present the game is for general marketing purpose. But the people that are keeping the game alive are people like us, people dedicated to the memes, dedicated to creating our own worlds, anime, video games. We're not here to be Chris or Nikkei. We're here to be our superheroes and our favorite
hold on.
characters.
We want to be Nikkei.
Yeah, we do, but we
Right?
don't. Imagine, like,
You
the
stop
game.
tapping my face,
I want to
please.
be my favorite superhero.
You're fucking tiny, my guy.
That's the spirit.
Oh.
That's the spirit.
I love that
fucking
you
hit
did
something.
that.
What did I hit? Oh, what did I hit?
You did that
Oh, it's just my lamp.
based
It was my lamp.
entirely
Don't fucking worry about
on
it.
our wacky E3 conversation.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Where the fuck am I? Oh shit, I'm getting scared.
Ooh,
Oh,
this.
yeah.
You alright, buddy?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Captain
me, Captain
Spirit. That's the spirit.
Vicky's just sitting here smirking. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to devalue Nikkei, but we're not here for Nikkei, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh god.
True.
I am.
We're here for stormtroopers,
Always.
Captain School Shooter, and McCree.
Brutal.
Wait,
And-
what?
and
oh,
Danganronpa.
okay, alright. I thought you were calling me Captain School Shooter for everybody else. Excuse me.
Oh god.
I'll have you know, I only own 5 guns. Fuck you.
That's enough.
That ain't enough.
It's enough to shoot
It's
up
more
a
than
school.
No, you're not fucking dead ass right now. I actually have a magazine right next to me.
Hey, I think you could say shots fired.
Oh, brutal.
I guess you can. Check this out. Just look. I'm smacking my magazine from my AR-15.
Dab. Nice.
It's one of those metal mags you get at fucking BMT. Woo! Anyway,
Yeah, we don't know what that is. We're
Basic
we're
military training.
European.
BMT.
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 That sounds like a fucking sandwich.
It does. Sounds like a BLT.
Yeah, give me a bacon mayonnaise taco, my
Well,
guy.
I'm
Fuck
like
it,
a
you know.
BLT right now.
Yeah, let's talk about food.
Church, fuck you.
Let's talk about food.
Yes.
Oh no, dude, I'm in America.
My parents recently
I'm
went.
in America,
Gonna
don't
go real soon.
Oh, okay. Is there anything you'd like to talk about before you go? Anything you want to bring to the table?
Not really.
I get it
I
out
mean,
soon as well. Like,
I gotta
we
fucking
covered
sleep.
everything on the
On the list.
Dude,
Yeah.
what time is it?
in the agenda. Yeah.
I think we were done here, my guy. We've covered everything.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Hit it.
Hey,
It's 4
everyone
o'clock, I
who
feel tired.
watched and everyone who will watch in the future for the 14 days that this will stay uploaded, thanks for being here and listen to our banter.
You can keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it. Fucking,
I
you can keep it.
really enjoyed myself, and I'm definitely gonna do more with this.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good time.
definitely.
Hey, what the fuck? Hey.
You did the okay, Ann. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Oh.
You wanna fucking start something?
Oh, hello.
Garbage.